Chapter 1844. Master Mateto, you are shameless. You don't even want to let your sworn brother go. How cruel. Sensing the murderous aura coming from the void, the Flame Snake King immediately knew that the lives of the Emerald Master and the other Monster Kings could not threaten Xiaoping. What they did was useless. Suddenly, the faces of the Monster Kings turned ugly. Damn, Master Mateto, you want to kill me, Feng Tianji? It's not that easy. My Storm City has stood in the monster realm for so long. Even a rotten ship has 3 nails. This is no small matter. Just at this time, Feng Tianji was furious. He finally made up his mind and immediately took out a fist-sized pearl from his body. It was emerald green and seemed to contain mysterious and complex wind runes. It was unfathomably deep. This is Storm City's treasure, the Wind Jade Ball. The Flame Snake King's eyes lit up. He immediately recognized this magic treasure. Yes, this is the treasure given to our Wind Demon clan by the ancestors of Storm City, the Wind Jade Ball. The corner of Feng Tianji's mouth twitched. He was in pain. Because this was a monster saint standing behind Storm City. It was a one-time use magic treasure given by the ancestors of the Wind Demon clan. It was extremely powerful and contained the power of a saint. This was a storm given by their ancestors to protect the leader of the Wind Demon clan. Each leader could only have 3 of them in their lifetime. After using them there would be no more. It was priceless. However, Feng Tianji had encountered many dangers before and had used 2. This was the last one. After using it there would be no more. That was why he was so conflicted and reluctant to use it. But at this time, if they did not use it they would probably die. It was not the time to be stingy. Thinking of this, Feng Tianji did not hesitate. He activated the magic power in his body and immediately activated the Wind Jade Ball. Immediately, with the Wind Jade Ball as the center, a huge wind enchantment was produced. It instantly enveloped the many Monster Kings. The exterior was light green. Even the Emerald Master and the other Monster Kings were wrapped in it. Brother Feng, thank you so much. If we can survive this time, you will be my sworn brother in the future. I will definitely repay you. The Flame Snake King was very grateful. The Jadeite Master and the other Monster Kings were also very grateful. Fuck, the enemy was still the most reliable at the crucial moment. What kind of bullshit companions and brothers were not reliable at all? At the crucial moment they were sold out. Right now they couldn't wait to tear Master Mateto's corpse into pieces. Once they were out of danger they would surely retaliate fiercely. You're welcome. We're all demons in distress. It's only right for us to help each other. Hearing this, Feng Tianji felt a lot less sullen. If he could gain the friendship of this elder from the 10,000 Demon Pavilion, perhaps the loss of using the Wind Jade Ball this time would decrease a lot. Without hesitation, Yang Kai immediately activated the Wind Jade Ball and increased the power of this artifact to its maximum. Whoosh! The Wind Jade Ball spun madly, creating a terrifying vortex that shook the void. It actually tore through the restraints of the Yellow River of Nine Bends diagram and escaped into the void, trying to escape. What kind of magic treasure is this? How can it break free from the Yellow River of the Nine Bends diagram? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He naturally sensed the actions of Feng Tianji and the other Demon Kings. That bead was actually a secret artifact. It produced a terrifying vortex that directly tore through the formation and escaped into the void. This kind of power contained a trace of the power of a sage. It was extremely terrifying. The current Yellow River of Nine Bends diagram could not resist it at all. As a result, the other party easily escaped. Master, this is the Wind Jade Ball. It's a secret artifact personally made by a Wind Attribute Demon Saint. It contains a trace of the power of the Sage Law. With the current Mountain River Pearl, it can't restrain it. I'm afraid they escaped this time. The Green Ox was experienced and knowledgeable. He immediately knew that this was the famous Wind Jade Ball. Its power was more powerful than ordinary sage talismans because it was made by the Demon Saint himself. He also spent a lot of effort and materials. They still want to escape? This is simply a fool's dream. No enemy can escape in front of me. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a trace of cold light. He activated the infernal Golden Crow's eyes. He saw that the Wind Jade Ball seemed to have escaped into the void. It merged with the space and quickly escaped into the distance. Ordinary lightning tribulation eminences wouldn't be able to block it at all. In just a few breaths of time, the Wind Jade Sphere would travel dozens of light years away and disappear without a trace. Whoosh! At the thought of this, he made a grabbing motion and pulled out a supreme magic treasure, the Reincarnation Brush. Xiaoping's 9 Gamma Maxim Sea of Consciousness trembled. A huge amount of magic power poured into the Reincarnation Brush, causing mysterious runes to appear on its surface. He held the reincarnation brush in his hand and pointed at the wind jade ball where Feng Tianji and the other demon kings were. In the blink of an eye, a terrifying beam of light shot out from the reincarnation brush. It was like the sword of a peerless swordsman, or like a shooting star streaking across the dark true void, filled with endless killing intent. The silver beam of light pierced through the starry sky and reached the wind jade ball. It easily tore the ball apart, as if nothing could stop the reincarnation brush's sharp light. Dong. The emerald green wind jade sphere immediately shattered, and the demon kings inside were instantly blasted out. But now they had escaped into the void, and the surroundings were filled with spatial turbulence. It was easy to imagine that they had been involved in a traffic accident and had been sucked into a spatial storm. Ah! The demon kings let out mournful screams. Their bodies were torn apart by the spatial turbulence, as if they had been attacked by countless attacks. They could not resist for even a moment. No, 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 I'm an elder of the myriad demon pavilion, a demon king of the thunder tribulation realm. How can I die like this? No, I don't want to die. Save me, save me. Master Wu Taidu, save me. I'm willing to be your slave. I'll do anything for you. The flaming snake king screamed again and again. But it was useless. Its body was instantly shattered by the spatial turbulence, and it was torn into countless pieces. Soon, its screams came to an abrupt end. Master Wu Taidu, you've done all kinds of evil. You will die a horrible death. My Storm City's old ancestor will avenge us. Master Mateto, you will not have a good end, the old ancestor will avenge us. Feng Qinji and Feng Ganglai cursed fiercely. They were extremely angry. They thought they could live, but at the last moment they had been tricked by Master Wu Taidu, and they could not escape. However, after saying this sentence they also died, turned into ashes and dispersed smoke. There was no need to mention the other demon monarchs, including the Emerald Master and the other demon monarchs. The entire wind jade ball exploded, blasting the group of demon monarchs into ashes, no longer existing. Whoosh! Xia Ping waved his hand and immediately collected the corpses of the titled demon kings. He also took away all the elixirs, spiritual herbs, and magical waves that they had left behind after they died. Chapter 1845. Dong, 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 boom. The void shook and explosions sounded like planets exploding. The entire Yellow River Formation was operating to the extreme, bursting out a terrifying power, smashing the demon kings in the formation. Even the Silver Wing King, Power Whale King, Jiao Dragon King, and other titled demon kings fell one after another, dying under the formation. Needless to say, the other ordinary demon kings fell like dumplings. An hour later in this area, many demon kings died without a complete corpse, turning into a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. However, Xia Ping did not kill all the demon kings, but left some alive, because he needed these survivors to spread his name. Otherwise, if all the demon kings died, who would know who did this? You are very lucky. I will let you all live because I need you to spread this news. Let the myriad demon pavilion, Storm City, Winged Race, Jiao Dragon Race and other forces know about this. If they want revenge, then come. My name is Master Mateto, standing at the top of the mountain waiting for them. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, looking down at the surviving demon kings. He waved his hand, immediately dispelling the formation, letting the remaining demon kings leave freely. What? Hearing this, the demon kings were stunned. They thought they were dead for sure, like the Silver Wing King and the other titled demon kings. They would be killed by Master Mateto and become fertilizer. However, they did not expect that this Master Mateto was so arrogant, not putting the demon world forces in his eyes at all, and even wanted to release them and spread the news. How arrogant did this kid want to be? Was he not afraid of the myriad demon pavilion and the other major forces finding trouble with him, killing him and exterminating his clan? However, it was obviously not the time to think about this. Now that there was a chance to live, these demon kings could not wait, and did not want to stay in this dangerous place. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Immediately, the demon kings fled in all directions without hesitation. They were practically using all their strength to escape. After fleeing a considerable distance, seeing that Xia Ping still did not catch up, they breathed a sigh of relief. This is a big loss. Not only did we not get the black hole worm, but we also caused a disaster. Hundreds of thousands of ordinary demon kings died, and even many titled demon kings died. Recalling what happened just now, some demon kings felt a lingering fear in their hearts. This is an unprecedented event in the demon realm. So many demon kings have died, and there are even demon kings with titles. This will definitely shock many factions. Even demon sages might wake up. A demon king said solemnly. That Master Potato is actually so arrogant, he doesn't intend to eradicate the roots of the problem, he even released us to promote his reputation, he is simply a madman. Some of the demon monarchs were trembling. They had never seen such an arrogant demon before. They had clearly done something earth-shattering that could easily lead to the annihilation of their entire race. However, this kid didn't care at all. He even wanted to publicize it and make a name for himself. What kind of trump card does this guy have to be so arrogant? Isn't he worried that he will be hunted down by many forces? A Monster King was very confused about this. If it was before, it would have thought that this Master Potato was a fool. However, after experiencing this battle, it no longer dared to underestimate him. It felt that Master Potato's every move had an unimaginable meaning. I'm not sure. Perhaps this involves a struggle between the higher-ups, or even a dispute between demon sages. In short, this matter is not something we can handle. We should escape as soon as possible. If that Master Potato goes back on his words, we are dead. A demon king suggested. All the demon kings nodded. Without stopping, they fled far away from this place. At this moment, Xia Ping, who was standing in place, looked into the distance and saw that there were still hundreds of black hole worms lingering nearby, refusing to leave for a long time. Although these black hole worms were also shrouded by the Grand Formation, Xia Ping didn't choose to deal with them, so they were unharmed and safe. Black hole worms, why aren't you running? Do you want to die? Xia Ping stood with his hands clasped behind his back, looking at these black hole worms. This expert, you didn't kill us just now, which proves that you still have goodwill towards our black hole worm race. I don't know if you can return the black hole worm king to us. In the future, our black hole worm race will definitely repay you. A black hole worm elder said. Do you think I will return it to you? Xia Ping said contemptuously. No. All the black hole worms shook their heads. Then why are you still talking nonsense? Do you think that I'm easy to bully just because I didn't kill you? Do you want to taste the sharpness of my blade? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes, revealing a trace of killing intent. Beside him, Qing Luan and Tu Linglong were speechless when they heard these words. Looking at the Demon King corpses all over the ground, if anyone saw this scene and thought that Xia Ping was easy to bully, then this guy's brain was definitely abnormal. No, actually, it's like this. We want to follow you, my lord. At this time, the Black Hole Worm Great Elder said, expressing that he wanted to follow Xia Ping. Follow me? What does that mean? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. My lord has already obtained the Black Hole Worm King and we can't take it back. The Black Hole Worm Great Elder said in a deep voice, but the Black Hole Worm King is the king of our race. Since my lord has become the master of the Black Hole Worm race, then naturally you are also the master of our race. So, it's understandable for us to follow my lord. In the universe, in order to survive, becoming a vassal race of a powerful race was not a shameful thing. It was a wise move. As one of the peak races in the universe, the human race also had many vassal races. They gave these races protection so that they would not be exterminated by other powerful races. Originally, the black hole worms were extremely solitary and rarely formed groups. However, there was one exception, and that was the birth of a black hole worm. In order for the Black Hole Worm King to smoothly mature, many black hole worms were willing to become guards, even if they had to pay the price of death. This was the loyalty engraved in the depths of their genes. The reason these black hole worms wanted to follow Xia Ping was to protect the nearby Black Hole Worm King. Hearing this, Xia Ping's heart palpitated. If he could obtain these mature black hole worms, then it would be equivalent to obtaining a large amount of help. However, he stared at the many black hole worms and said, "But I don't believe you. Who knows if you will go back on your word? It's normal for my lord to have such doubts. Since my lord doesn't believe us, you can sign a blood contract with us," the Black Hole Worm Great Elder said. The so-called blood contract was a bloodline contract, a slave contract. The slave would offer their essence blood to the master. Once the contract was established, their life and death would be in the master's control. With a thought, the slave would be annihilated. However, for the blood contract to be established, the other party had to be willing. If there was even the slightest bit of resistance, it would not be established. Interesting. Since you're willing, I naturally won't object. Chapter 1846. Heavens, this human scoundrel actually abducted over 100 black hole worms. Tu Linglong gnashed her teeth in anger. She didn't expect this scoundrel's luck to be so good, obtaining the loyalty of over 100 mature black hole worms. Just how great of a help would they be? With these black hole worms as his subordinates, this human would definitely be even more arrogant. What? You're not convinced? You don't want the black hole worm eggs anymore? After signing a blood contract with over 100 black hole worms, Xiaoping glanced sideways at Tu Linglong and said arrogantly, "That's right." What? Tu Linglong was furious. He actually used this matter to threaten her. What a despicable and shameless human. She wanted to bite Xiaoping and eat him like a meat bun. Don't worry, I, Xiaoping, am a human who keeps his word. I won't go back on my word like a certain rabbit. You two brought me into the demon realm, so you more or less deserve some credit. These 2 black hole worm eggs are your reward. Xiaoping took out 2 black hole worm eggs and threw them to Tu Linglong and Qing Wan. What do you mean reward us? This is a fair trade. Tu Linglong was furious. Hearing this human's tone, ordinary people who didn't know would think that they were this scoundrel's maids, and because they pleased him, he casually rewarded them with some treasures. How could they be partners? They were simply being treated like maids and they were being treated like pets. This was truly preposterous. What? You're not satisfied? Do you want to compete with me? Xiaoping reached out and rubbed Tu Linglong's little head, completely treating her like a child. Let's compete then. I'll fight you to the death. Tu Linglong went crazy with anger. She no longer cared about the difference in strength between her and Xiaoping and kicked him. But it was obvious that Tu Linglong was easily suppressed by Xiaoping. She was lifted up, and her long legs were kicking around in the air in defiance. General Black Hole Worm. Qing Wan's eyes lit up. She could see that these 2 black hole worm eggs were of extremely high quality. They were practically the highest grade worm eggs apart from the king worm eggs. He believed that if they could obtain these 2 eggs, their mission completion evaluation would be extremely high. At that moment she heard the voice of the demon temple in her mind. Congratulations on completing the quest. You have obtained the general black hole worm egg. The quest evaluation is perfect. You may return to the demon temple at any time. Tu Linglong also heard the sound of mission completion, and she was immediately overjoyed, immediately forgetting the humiliation of being suppressed by Xiaoping. Xiaoping, now that the task is completed, we can return to the Demon Saint Temple at any time. Should we leave the demon realm now or later? We can stay in the demon realm for 1 more day. Qing Wan looked at Xiaoping. 1 day? Forget it then. We won't be able to obtain any treasures in 1 day. Let's just leave now. In any case, there are no treasures here for us to obtain. Hearing this, Xiaoping still wanted to continue plundering the many treasures in the demon realm. However, he could only stay for 1 day, so he gave up. After all, he had done such a world-shaking thing. Who knew what would happen if he stayed for 1 more day? Maybe even demon saints would come. It was better to leave as soon as possible. Moreover, he had obtained great benefits this time, so this trip was not in vain. Thinking of this, he waved his hand and immediately put all the black hole worms and a large number of Monster King's corpses into the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River, leaving nothing behind. Okay, Demon Saint Temple, let's return immediately. Qing Wan said. As you wish. In the void, an illusory voice sounded. Boom, suddenly, a mass of energy instantly enveloped Xiaoping, Tu Linglong and Qing Wan. In the next second, their figures disappeared from the demon realm and returned to the original universe. 1 day later. The news of Hollowwood King, Silver Wing King, Power Whale King, Jiao Dragon King, Golden Rock King, Flame Snake King, and other titled demon kings, as well as hundreds of thousands of ordinary demon kings who had perished in the worm lair, spread across the entire demon realm. This caused a huge shock. It was unknown how long it had been in the demon realm, and every time it happened, it was a war between many races. But now, just fighting for the black hole worms, there was actually such a huge number of casualties. Immediately, it caused countless monsters to be shocked and disgusted, and all well-informed places spread this news. It's too exaggerated. It is said that Hollowwood King, Silver Wing King, Power Whale King, Flood Dragon King, Golden Rock King, and other titled monster kings all died in the worm nest, and hundreds of thousands of monster kings also died. Is there such a thing? Could it be that these titled monster kings fought too much, and as a result both sides suffered and died together? If that was all, then it would be fine, but it is not so. These titled monster kings were all killed by a mysterious monster called Master Matato. What a joke, that is a titled monster king, an existence that stands at the peak of the demon realm, who can easily kill them. Could it be that a monster saint personally took action? But that is not right. There is no reason for a monster saint to take action and do such a thing. What actually happened? That Master Matato is not a monster saint, he is only a mysterious monster at the late stage of the returning true realm, but he has too many methods, and even has a tyrannical saint weapon, which is why he is so invincible and swept away so many monsters. No wonder these titled monster kings died. This Master Matato has a saint weapon. It is like he is possessed by a saint who can be his opponent. It is not surprising that he can sweep away everything. But this Master Matato is too daring. What kind of race is he? He killed so many titled monster kings and ordinary monster kings all at once. It has already caused public anger. This is a crime that must be punished with death. That kid is dead for sure. There is absolutely no reason for him to live. He killed so many titled monster kings. This is the same as making a mortal enemy with so many races. It will not end until he is dead. Once the identity of this Master Matato is found out, then it will be a war of extermination. Not necessarily. If this Master Matato has the support of a monster saint, then maybe nothing will happen. Nothing will happen? This is simply an idiot's dream. The Thousand Demon Pavilion, Winged Race, Dragon Race, Golden Rock Race, and all the other big powers, which one of them does not have a monster saint behind them? How could they just let this go? This time they will not stop until they pay the price of blood. Yeah, and this kid has also obtained countless benefits. He has seized many black hole worms. Even a king worm has fallen into his hands. Those big races will not let him go. What? A king worm has come out? It seems that Master Matato is dead for sure. The birth of a king worm is something that even a monster saint covets. It would be hard for that Master Matato not to die. It seems that the demon realm will soon have a huge turmoil. Maybe it will sweep the entire demon realm. Blood will flow like a river. Chapter 1847. At the moment, Storm City was in a gloomy mood. Storm City had suffered the most losses this time because Feng Tianji had brought most of the elites of Storm City with him. His goal was to snatch the black hole worm without fail. However, who would have thought that such an accident would happen? Not only was the city lord Feng Tianji dead, but even the 100,000 elites were killed. None of them managed to escape. After hearing the news, many of the higher-ups of Storm City turned pale. What should we do? Now that the city lord and the 100,000 demon kings of Storm City are dead, there are many forces under us who are eager to take over Storm City's position, a Storm City elder said. An elder of Stormwind City said. He was extremely anxious about this matter. If he did not suppress the forces under his control, the entire Stormwind City would probably fall apart. Overnight, Storm City would go from being a local overlord to a small force. Even the higher-ups of Storm City like them would become street rats. They would be chased by everyone and chased to the ends of the earth. They shuddered at the thought of such a miserable outcome. What else can we do? This is the moment when our Storm City is at its weakest. 100,000 demon kings are dead. How can we find the military strength to suppress those restless and reckless resistance forces? They can't wait to replace our Storm City's position. Many elders gnashed their teeth. To be able to reach its current status, Storm City had naturally killed countless enemies and offended many forces. If Storm City was strong, those enemies would not even dare to let out a fart. However, if Storm City weakened, they would definitely charge at them like ferocious dogs and tear them to pieces. There's no other way. We can only report this matter to the Patriarch. Don't worry, as long as the Patriarch is still here, Storm City will still be the strongest force. No demon can do anything to us, the Storm City Elder said coldly. The Stormwind City Great Elder said coldly, his eyes revealing a hint of coldness. As for those forces that don't know what's good for them, ignore them for now. Once the Great Ancestor comes out, they will immediately disappear. All the elders nodded. Their patriarch was a demon saint, equivalent to the sea-stabilizing force of the wind demon race. It did not matter how many demon kings like them died. As long as the Grand Elder was still alive, Storm City would eventually return to its peak state and would not perish. It's all that Master Matato's fault. If it wasn't for that bastard, how could our Storm City fall into such a situation? Once we find him, we will tear him into pieces and avenge the city lord. A wind demon shouted in anger. He hated Master Matato, who he had never met before. It was this guy who had buried the good situation of Storm City with one hand. Issue a wanted order, immediately arrest Master Matato. My Stormwind City will not rest until he dies. Wait for me to report this matter to the Ancestor. Let the Ancestor personally take action to capture this Master Matato and take revenge. The Great Elder gnashed his teeth. He also hated Master Matato to the extreme. Yes. Many wind demons also had a common enemy. If they saw Master Matato, they would definitely rush up and tear the culprit into countless pieces. On the other hand, in the Thousand Demons Pavilion, many elders also gathered together. They also heard the news that Flame Snake King and the 150,000 ordinary demon kings he led were all dead. This shocked the entire myriad demon pavilion, and all the higher-ups attended the meeting. Flame Snake King, this bastard, what did he eat? He brought so many troops and horses there, but he didn't get anything. Instead, he was completely annihilated. If he wasn't dead, this old man would definitely tear him into pieces. A myriad demon pavilion elder gnashed his teeth and said, Flame Snake King is indeed an idiot, arrogant and conceited. Such a reckless character will cause trouble sooner or later, but I didn't expect such a big thing to happen. Even if our myriad demon pavilion is a big business, the death of 150,000 demon kings is also an unprecedented loss. The pavilion master is furious and wants to find the elders to hold him accountable. A green-robed elder said with a dignified face. Damn, it actually alarmed the pavilion master. Sure enough, I have to kill Flame Snake King again to quench the anger in my heart. Many elders of the myriad demon pavilion were stunned. If the pavilion master is angry, all of them will be in big trouble. The pavilion master has ordered that Master Matato must be caught and killed. The dignity of the myriad demon pavilion cannot be insulted by anyone. Only the blood of the enemy can wash away this shame. A golden-robed elder conveyed the order of the pavilion master. Don't worry, great elder, we will immediately mobilize all the intelligence personnel of the myriad demon pavilion. We must find the whereabouts of Master Mutato. Once we encounter him, that kid will definitely die. He dared to kill the members of our myriad demon pavilion. That Master Mutato is tired of living. No matter what monster is behind him, he will not stop until he pays the price with his blood. It is said that Master Mutato obtained a lot of treasures. He has a sacred tool, insect nest, ancient heavenly dragon talisman and other treasures. Even the king insect fell into his hands. What? There is actually such a thing? This is just right. After killing Master Mutato, we can confiscate all his treasures, which is enough to make up for all the losses of our myriad demon pavilion. Many elders discussed. They immediately mobilized the intelligence organization of the myriad demon pavilion in the demon realm. Countless little monsters were dispatched to inquire about Master Mutato, trying to find some clues. In addition, the silver-winged race, whale race, flood dragon race, rock race, wood race and other races were also furious. They had suffered heavy losses in this operation. One after another, their titled demon kings had fallen. It must be known that these titled demon kings were great figures within their race. They had high status and power. Some were even the leaders of their race. Now that they had fallen, it caused a shock in their race. Kill, 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 we must kill that Master Mutato. He killed our race's titled demon king and killed many ordinary demon kings. This is a blood feud. Immediately dispatch our people to put a bounty on Master Mutato in the entire demon realm. Once you find any traces of him, immediately take action. Regardless of life or death, bring his head back to the ancestral land and offer it to our dead compatriots. Absolutely irreconcilable. This is an absolutely irreconcilable hatred. Annihilate Master Mutato's 9 clans. This is a war. Many elites of various races were furious. They had already regarded Master Mutato's actions as a signal to start a war with their own race. There was simply no room for redemption after doing such a thing. Even if Master Mutato wanted to surrender now, it was already too late. They would not give up until the race behind Master Mutato was completely slaughtered. Blood flowed like a river and even chickens and dogs were thrown into chaos. For a time the demon realm was in turmoil. It was unknown how many monsters were looking for traces of Master Mutato. Chapter 1848. Southern Universe, a primitive planet inside the Demon Temple. At this moment, Xia Ping, Tu Linglong and Qing Wan teleported back to the Southern Universe. You rest here first, we'll go refine the black hole worm egg. After returning to the Demon Temple, Qing Wan said to Xia Ping. She couldn't wait to refine the black hole worm because it would be of great benefit to her cultivation and could even strengthen her bloodline power. For Tu Linglong it was even better. Her spacetime bloodline and the black hole worm complemented each other, so she would probably get more benefits than Qing Wan. No problem. Xia Ping nodded in understanding. Thus, Qing Wan and Tu Linglong immediately entered their own seclusion rooms. The two of them cultivated in separate places. After all, if the two of them stayed together, they would definitely be affected. Beep beep, just after the two of them left, Xia Ping heard the system's voice. Congratulations to the host for causing a lot of hatred in the demon realm. Countless demon kings want to kill the host and have become a super wanted criminal in the demon realm. This time, you have received a total of 120 hatred crystals. I hope you can continue to work hard. 120 hatred crystals. Hearing this number, Xiaoping was very excited. In addition to the 250 hatred crystals he had before, he now had a total of 370 hatred crystals. This time he had made a lot of money and obtained a lot of wealth. Not to mention that he had annihilated hundreds of thousands of demon kings this time. The treasures he had harvested from these demon kings were probably an astronomical figure. If word got out, many people would be scared to death. Now, inside the space of the mountain river Pearl, there were many treasures, materials, and so on obtained from the demon realm, as well as tens of thousands of mountains piled up densely together, shining with treasure light. In terms of wealth alone, only sages could compare with him. Other Thunder Retribution realm powerhouses were not worth mentioning at all. It would not be an exaggeration to say that he was the richest mortal. However, his biggest gain this time was probably the huge amount of soul energy he had collected from the hundreds of thousands of demon kings he had killed. Soul Crystal. Xiaoping waved his hand, and a crystal the size of a grain of rice immediately appeared in his hand. This was the famous Soul Crystal. Although it was only the size of a grain of rice, it contained most of the soul energy of a Transcendence realm powerhouse. This soul power was created by devouring and refining souls with the power of his own divine ability. If someone discovered it, they would definitely go crazy and fight over it. He had hundreds of thousands of similar soul crystals on him. The soul energy surrounding him was so abundant that it was frightening. If he could completely devour these soul crystals, his soul power would definitely reach an unprecedented realm. However, when Xiaoping thought about it carefully, he felt that it was impossible. After all, there was a limit to the strength of his soul. If he really devoured these soul crystals, he would probably explode. He reckoned that he would only be able to completely devour these soul crystals after advancing to the Transcendence realm or even the Thunder Tribulation realm. Big Brother. With a swoosh, Gaia's figure suddenly appeared in front of Xiaoping. She stared blankly at the soul crystal in Xiaoping's hand, and a drop of sparkling saliva appeared at the corner of her mouth, as if she was drooling. She was originally in a deep sleep, but her body's instinctive hunger woke her up. She immediately woke up from her sleep and came to Xiaoping's side. What? Do you want these soul crystals? Xiaoping also remembered that if Gaia wanted to speed up her evolution, she needed a huge amount of soul energy. These soul crystals condensed by Transcendence and Thunder Tribulation realm experts undoubtedly had a fatal attraction to Gaia. Yes. Dumbo nodded hard. You can evolve by eating it. Can you evolve into a sage? Xiaoping asked. No, it's still not enough, a lot. Dumbo said. How much is a lot? Xiaoping looked at Dumbo. Dumbo tilted her head and thought for a while. She gestured. A lot, like a small mountain. Are these enough? Xiaoping waved his hand and took out all the soul crystals he had. They piled up like a small mountain, emitting extremely dense soul energy that almost condensed into a substance. Seeing these soul crystals, Dumbo's eyes lit up. She thought for a while and said, not enough, but almost. What? Hearing this, Xiaoping was instantly overjoyed. Almost meant that after devouring these soul crystals, Dumbo would have a chance to evolve greatly and transcend into a sage? To be honest, he was very confident about entering the sage realm, but he was not sure when he would be able to do so. It might take hundreds or even thousands of years. After all, the further one went, the slower the speed of cultivation would be. Sometimes, it was common to be stuck in a bottleneck for thousands of years. But if Dumbo had a chance to enter the sage realm, it would be completely different. He could get a super fighter equivalent to a sage realm, and he might even have a chance to peek into the mystery of becoming a sage. These soul crystals are all for you. Thinking of this, Xiaoping immediately made a decision. Although these soul crystals were difficult to obtain, compared to Dumbo's evolution, it was not worth mentioning at all. Moreover, he had obtained a large number of black hole worms this time. If he had the chance to dig a space channel into hell and plunder a large number of hell demons, then obtaining soul crystals would be a piece of cake. It was not a big deal at all. Can I really? Dumbo blinked her eyes and looked at Xiaoping. She felt that these soul crystals were also very important to her brother. Of course not. These soul crystals will be abundant in the future. It's not a big deal at all. Xiaoping touched Dumbo's head. Okay. Hearing these words, Dumbo nodded vigorously. She vowed to evolve quickly so that she could be more helpful to her brother. She waved her hand and immediately swallowed these soul crystals. Boom! In an instant, the aura in Dumbo's body underwent earth-shaking changes. Hundreds of thousands of Demon King soul crystals entered the Gaia space and integrated into the depths of her soul. Then, masses of crystalline energy gushed out from her body and wrapped her whole body, turning into a huge crystal eggshell, exuding sacred, ancient, chaotic, and other auras. Xia Ping could sense that this eggshell was very powerful. Its defensive power was comparable to a sage artifact. Perhaps even if a sage came in person, it would not be easy to break this eggshell. Xia Ping, this is Gaia entering the incubation state. Great, this evolution might allow Gaia to truly step into the sage realm. Then Gaia would be invincible. Corinne could see Dumbo's current situation at once, because after its former owner obtained Gaia, he had collected a lot of information about the imprisoned Gaia race. Chapter 1849. So, after this evolution, Dumbo may step into the Saint realm? Xiaoping asked. Not necessarily. It's just a certain probability. But even if it doesn't step into the Saint realm this time, it will definitely be able to do so next time. In short, this has greatly benefited Gaia and shortened the evolution process by countless years, Corinne said in a deep voice. His tone was very excited. He hadn't expected that he would be able to witness the process of Gaia stepping into the sage realm. This was simply a rare experience. Even a sage might not have seen it. After all, there were too few Gaia. Encountering one was a miracle. That's good. Xiaoping was looking forward to it. If Dumbo could take advantage of this opportunity to step into the Saint realm, then he would be rich. He would be able to walk unhindered in the universe. Not many people would dare to provoke him. Thinking of this, he waved his hand and immediately put Dumbo into the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers so that she could peacefully evolve. Master, the King Stoneworm seems to be moving. It's about to come out. At this time, the voice of the Green Bull was heard. What? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. His figure flashed and immediately entered the space of the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers. If the King Stoneworm was born now, it would be very difficult to contract it in the future. His figure flashed and immediately arrived at the place where the eggs were. Hundreds of black hole worms appeared around him. They were like guards guarding the eggs. Everyone was extremely excited to see the King Stoneworm about to come out. Ha! Xiaoping looked over and found that the black egg was constantly trembling. The eggshell was cracking and tiny cracks appeared one after another. It bloomed with thousands of rays of light. These rays of light gathered in the air and seemed to form runes of the black hole worms. They twisted like worms and finally formed a supreme black scripture. It was mysterious and unfathomable. Feeling this power, the many black hole worms seemed to be extremely excited. Their momentum was also rising, as if they had obtained endless benefits under this light. Sure enough, it's about to come out. Thinking of this, Xiaoping felt that there was no time to lose. He immediately approached the King Stoneworm, bit his finger, used his magic power, and dripped his essence blood. Boom. In an instant, the black insect egg immediately swallowed Xiaoping's blood essence. A majestic golden crow of hell energy immediately rushed into the depths of the insect egg and fused with it. It was as if this insect egg was being burned by a red flame and was filled with the power of fire. Meanwhile, Xiaoping sensed that he had established a spiritual connection with the egg and signed a contract that had existed since ancient times. A formation emerged from him and the king insect and rotated slowly before entering the depths of their seas of consciousness in the blink of an eye. Dong. At this moment, the black insect egg finally appeared. The entire eggshell cracked open, and a black-haired lowly of about 5 or 6 years of age emerged from the depths of the eggshell. She had big watery eyes and smooth skin. The eggshells shattered and turned into an orb of pure energy that covered the black-haired lowly's body, turning into a crown, a black necklace, earrings, bracelets, high heels, a black dress, and a black scepter with gems on it. Her entire body gave off an ancient and noble aura, as if she was a supreme queen, incredibly noble and indescribable. With her body as the center, an energy vortex appeared. A huge black hole appeared in the sky, constantly rotating, and majestic spatial energy poured into her body. Haha, commoners, kneel, prostrate, and worship. Your king has been born. The black-haired lowly raised the black scepter high and laughed loudly, revealing an insufferably arrogant look. Although she had just been born, the inheritance of the King Stoneworm had actually begun the moment the insect egg was born. She had already received a lot of inheritance knowledge about the black hole worm from the insect egg. Therefore, she could be considered a little brat who had received primary school education, not a newborn who knew nothing. The reason why she had not come out of the insect egg before was that the time was not ripe. It was not time for her to come out. Immediately, the eyes of the black hole worms were filled with hot tears. They could not help but prostrate and worship the birth of their king. Commoner, why aren't you kneeling? The black-haired lowly very quickly noticed that Xiaoping did not prostrate. She immediately became a little angry and puffed up her cheeks. Bang! Xia Ping expressionlessly reached out and knocked her on the head. Ah, despicable commoner, how dare you hit this king? What a disgraceful act. Men, drag this commoner out and execute her. The black-haired loli was instantly enraged. She was the queen of the black hole worms, a supreme existence, but someone actually dared to hit her head. This was blasphemy, blasphemy against a king. Even exterminating her family would be considered a light punishment. However, the surrounding black hole worms remained indifferent and prostrated on the ground. They had already signed a contract with Xia Ping and could not attack him, even if the black-haired loli was the queen of the black hole worms. What? You rebels, how dare you not listen to my words? Are you coveting my throne and planning to usurp it? The black-haired loli was stunned. This was different from the inheritance of knowledge. She was clearly the king, and when she appeared, she would be surrounded by hundreds of officials and people. But now they were not listening to her and were indifferent to her orders. For a moment she felt as if Jianghu was surrounded by the Wu River, ambushed and besieged. What rebels? Where did you learn this kind of thing? Looks like you need to be taught a lesson. Xia Ping touched his chin and looked at the black-haired loli dangerously. Commoner, what are you trying to do? I am the king with billions of soldiers and horses under my command. Don't you dare mess around. The black-haired loli looked at Xia Ping in horror. What king? You are just a little kid. Xia Ping reached out and knocked on her head again. Right, you have just been born, so you can't not have a name. Why don't I call you Little Black? It sounds nice and easy to remember. It also suits the characteristics of your race. Get lost. What Little Black? I am the king. How can there be a king named Little Black? The black-haired loli wanted to bite Xia Ping to death. If she was really given this name, where would her dignity as a king be? Oh, I understand now. You are not a commoner. You should be the regent, a loyal minister left behind by the previous king. However, you are ambitious and want to usurp the throne. You want to overthrow me. In an instant, the black-haired loli seemed to understand something, and a look of grief and indignation appeared on her face. She knew from the various inherited knowledge that every dynasty had its ups and downs. Sometimes the king was strong and the ministers were weak. Sometimes the king was weak and the ministers were strong. Without a doubt, this was the time when the king was weak and the ministers were strong. Bullying the black-haired loli because she was weak, she wanted to overthrow her throne and order the princes. This guy was a treacherous minister. Chapter 1850. What prince regent? What a bunch of nonsense. Xia Ping expressionlessly pulled the black-haired loli's chubby cheeks, ignoring her resistance. The name Xiaohei is indeed not good, it's not suitable for girls. How about this, since you're from the black hole insect race, you can use insect as your surname. As for your name, you can be Xiaoqian. Anyway, black hole insects can appear and disappear unpredictably like ghosts. He decided to change the black-haired loli's name to Chong Xiaoqian. I don't agree. The black-haired loli Chong Xiaoqian said angrily. Hearing the treacherous official's words, she knew that the name was not good, it did not match the identity of a king. She wanted to call herself Chong Badian, Invincible Insect, Supreme Insect, and so on. Objection overruled. Xia Ping suppressed it without hesitation, then said to the green ox, Green ox, take this brat away and teach her well, change her twisted personality. Yes, master. The green ox's figure flashed and appeared in front of Xia Ping. No, treacherous official, I will not listen to you. The black-haired loli Chong Xiaoqian kept struggling, but she was still just born and was instantly suppressed by the green ox. Xiaoqian, why are you resisting? Why are you not obedient? The green ox asked amiably. You're in cahoots with that treacherous official, you want to usurp my throne. I won't believe you and I won't learn anything from you. Just give up. Chong Xiaoqian crossed her arms in front of her chest. No, actually, I'm in cahoots with the king. The green ox shook his head. Think about it carefully, the other party's power is at its peak. If you act tough and refuse to obey, the enemy will be wary and kill you. What? That treacherous official dares to kill the king? Chong Xiaoqian said with some fear. He's already trying to usurp the throne, what's there to be afraid of? Maybe the previous king died like this. The green ox narrowed his eyes and said meaningfully. What? Chong Xiaoqian's heart clenched and her breathing became hurried. She felt as if she had heard a world-shaking secret. It seemed that this royal regent was extremely cruel, and the previous royal regent had most likely been murdered by this bastard. She immediately listed Xia Ping as the ultimate great demon king, an evil boss that stood in her path to becoming a king. If If she did not defeat him, she would not be able to become a king. Then what should I do? Chong Xiaoqian hurriedly asked. Although she was arrogant and conceited, she knew that as a king she should be open-minded and open to all kinds of opinions. This was what an outstanding king should do. Accumulate grain, build high walls, and slowly proclaim yourself king. The green ox stated the 9 words policy. Chong Xiaoqian's eyes immediately lit up upon hearing this. Well said. Looks like you're my true trusted aide, unlike the treacherous aide of the royal regent. She immediately understood what the green ox was trying to say. He was clearly saying that she was too weak, and that she was not suitable for a battle with the treacherous aide for the time being. Facing him head-on was the path to destruction. After she developed in peace and became more powerful, she would secretly win over her subordinates, recruit soldiers and train elite soldiers. After that, she would have a decisive battle with this treacherous aide and expel him. What a brilliant plan. As expected of a trusted aide of the previous royal regent, he was able to immediately tell her how to get out of this predicament. Although the imperial court was filled with treacherous aides, there were still some loyal aides. Thank you for your praise, Your Majesty. May I ask if you can learn from me now? The green ox chuckled with a benevolent expression. Chong Xiaoqian clasped her hands behind her back and nodded. Of course not. When I come to power in the future, you'll be my loyal aide and you'll control billions of troops in my place. She decided that she was going to reward this ox handsomely in the future. Even though he was not from the black hole insect race, it did not matter. As a king, she should not only rule over her own race. She wanted to rule over all races. Thank you, Your Majesty. The green ox smiled. After that, Chong Xiaoqian did not resist anymore and obediently learned from the green ox. At this moment, Xia Ping did not care about the situation of the green ox and Chong Xiaoqian. He turned to look at the black hole insects. You can't just eat for free even if you stay here. You have to contribute. Xia Ping said. Of course. What does Master want us to do? The black hole insect Grand Elder Chongda said in a deep voice. What can you do? Xia Ping asked in return. Chongda thought about it and said, we black hole insects are a special race with spatial attributes. Digging spatial tunnels is only our basic ability and instinctive behavior. Looks like Master doesn't need to open up spatial tunnels for the time being. However, we also have another ability which is to build nests. We can continuously open up space and expand the area of the space. For example, we can continue to expand the space of the mountain river pearl. What? You have the ability to expand the area of the mountain river pearl? Xia Ping was a little shocked. If he could continue to expand the area of the mountain river pearl, then it would naturally be extremely beneficial to him. He would be able to increase the area of cultivation and obtain more spirit items. Moreover, the mountain river pearl would also increase his power and continuously temper his magic treasure. It's a piece of cake. The black hole insect said proudly. This was their special ability. Alright, then I'll leave this matter to you. Anyway, Chong Xiaoqian will not be in any danger in the space of the mountain river pearl. You can work with peace of mind? Xia Ping said solemnly. Yes, Master. The numerous black hole insects nodded, and they immediately dispersed. Their bodies twisted and reached the end of the space of the mountain river pearl. It was an empty, gray space like chaos. Nothing existed there. These black hole insects looked at each other and scattered to different places. They swallowed clouds and breathed out mist, biting the spatial barrier. It was like eating chocolate. Crack, 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 they broke the spatial barrier. Then they spat out clouds of spatial energy from their mouths and merged into the space of the mountain river pearl. What? Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He could feel that after the spatial energy merged into the space of the mountain river pearl, the entire mountain river pearl seemed to have received a huge amount of energy. The area of the space of the mountain river pearl was also expanding bit by bit, and the land was slowly growing. If it was only one mature black hole insect, it would not be a big deal. However, there were over 100 black hole insects working at the same time. The efficiency of expanding the space was quite incredible. Perhaps after a period of time, the space of the mountain river pearl would more than double. This was probably the special ability of the black hole insects. Xia Ping was overjoyed. As expected, his decision to obtain these black hole insects was correct. With these super laborers, the space of the mountain river pearl would continue to expand. It might even be bigger than the nest of the black hole ancestor in the future. Chapter 1851. Whoosh. Xia Ping's figure flashed as he flew out from the space of the pearl of mountains and rivers. He could sense that the space inside the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers seemed to be expanding bit by bit as the black hole worm at the peak of tribulation lightning worked hard to open up the space. It was a bit like when Pangu split the heavens. Although it was not as incredible as when Pangu split the heavens, it was more stable. Little by little, the space inside the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers would probably be so huge that it would be astounding. Moreover, the power of the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers seemed to be growing bit by bit. It had to be known that the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers was a divine artifact. Even a small improvement was very difficult. Now, with the help of the black hole worm, the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers was evolving. Who knew how many people would be scared to death if word got out? Even if he did not obtain the Yellow River in the depths of hell, the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers would probably be able to evolve into a mid-grade divine artifact, or even a high-grade divine artifact. And at this moment, Xiaoping suddenly turned his head. He sensed a familiar and tyrannical aura coming from afar. He looked over and saw that it was the Blue Luan who had just come out of seclusion. She walked out of the quiet room with a face full of joy. "You're done? Did you refine the black hole worm?" Xiaoping asked curiously. "That's right. Thanks to you I've succeeded." The Blue Luan smiled faintly. Her smile could not hide the excitement in her heart. After refining the black hole worm, she would be able to refine this general-class black hole worm as her pet. It brought her great benefits. In particular, the spatial energy from the black hole worm flowed into her body like a tide. It cleansed her body and purified her bloodline, allowing the Blue Luan bloodline in her body to increase by more than 10%. In other words, she now had more than 20% of the Blue Luan divine beast's bloodline. This also allowed her cultivation and magic power to greatly improve. Even her temperament had undergone an earth-shattering change. At the same time, because of the black hole worm's help, she could also comprehend the power of space at all times. Now, she could even use some spatial abilities, increasing her combat power by several times. It could be said that the black hole worm was indeed a magical creature that even Tribulation Lightning Realm experts wanted to obtain. The benefits it brought to cultivators were simply too great, beyond imagination. "Strange, why do I feel that your aura is a little different?" Xiaoping blinked his eyes. He felt that the current Cyan Wan was completely different from before. Her body was filled with a strong aura of a divine beast. She was like a fairy from the heavens, high and unattainable. She seemed to be a fairy that was far away from the mortal world and detached from the three realms. He felt that the aura of the Blue Luan seemed to have a fatal attraction to him. Dong, dong, dong. At this moment, Xiaoping felt that his heart was beating like a war drum, like a volcano erupting. His blood was flowing like lava, like a raging sea. Every cell of the golden crow of hell in his body was surging. He looked at Qing Yuan and realized that Qing Yuan was unprecedentedly charming and beautiful. Her skin was creamy and her eyes sparkled like the stars. It was as if she could speak and was extremely alluring. She was wearing a long white dress and her figure was hot and curvaceous. Her long black hair reached her waist, and when she turned around and smiled, it was as if the 3 palaces and 6 courtyards had lost their color. What happened? Xiaoping instinctively felt that there was something wrong with his body. This seemed to be a desire from the depths of his bloodline. It was also like he had entered his puberty period and couldn't control it at all. Qing Yuan had the same feeling. In fact, her performance was even more unbearable than Xiaoping's. The Blue Luan bloodline in her body was seething, and there was a faint cheerful cry from the depths of her body. It was like the cry of spring. Her beautiful face was flushed red, and her eyes were filled with lust. Her entire body emitted the aura of a mature woman, and her red lips parted slightly as she spoke. Damn it! Xiaoping immediately understood. This was the resonance between the bloodline of the Golden Crow of Hell and the Blue Luan, triggering the fusion of the 2 divine beasts. This was an instinct that came from the continuation of peak-level genes. It was a fusion of the origin source of heaven and earth. There was no way to defy it. If it was the Blue Luan of the past, such a thing wouldn't have happened. It was because the Blue Luan bloodline in her body was too thin and couldn't attract the attention of the bloodline of the Golden Crow of Hell. But it was different now. After refining the black hole worm, the bloodline in Qing Yuan's body had increased greatly. It was already in the embryonic form of a divine beast, like a maiden waiting to be married. She was only 18 years old, and it was enough to cause the bloodline of the Golden Crow of Hell to seethe. At the next second, the 2 of them involuntarily hugged each other and rolled onto the bed. Several hours later, Xiaoping and Qing Yuan had completely fused together, and there was no distinction between them. Xia Ping instinctively used the telepathic heart art and other supreme secret arts of dual cultivation. Yin and Yang fused together. Their magical powers blended together like water, and their souls intertwined as if they had become one. Walala, he could sense the dense energy of the Blue Yuan's bloodline being transmitted over from the Blue Yuan. It was like tide water gushing into his body, cleansing every bone, every inch of flesh, every drop of blood, and every inch of his soul. At the same time, the cells of the golden crow of hell in his body were also crazily awakening. His bloodline was dense, and every drop of blood was boiling like lava, containing the terrifying energy of the golden crow of hell. These cells of the golden crow of hell were unsealed, and majestic energy essence gushed out. Every cell was like a spiritual medicine, quickly transforming into a vast magical power, crazily surging into the 9 purple mansions. With the help of this energy, his magical power was greatly improved. It was almost instantly raised to the peak of the returning nature realm, and he was only one step away from the transcendence realm. At this moment, the bloodline of the Blue Yuan had awakened. In the depths of the void, the memories of the ancient Blue Yuan were tumbling like tidewater, crazily transmitted to the depths of the Blue Yuan's mind. Even Xia Ping received the memories from the depths of the Blue Yuan's bloodline. Although he couldn't see these memories clearly, with the inexplicable comprehension of these memories, it also increased his understanding of the laws of heaven and earth, which would be of great benefit to him when he became a sage in the future. His primordial spirit and the Blue Yuan's primordial spirit fused together, and carried out the dual cultivation of the soul. His primordial spirit also received great benefits, and the soul energy crazily increased. Almost in an instant, the 9 primordial spirits were all raised to the peak of the returning nature realm, and there was no more room for improvement. Primordial spirit transformation, transcendence of heaven and earth. Suddenly Xia Ping was enlightened. He immediately knew that he had advanced to the peak of the returning nature realm, and now was the time to break through to the transcendence realm, and condense the transcendence of heaven and earth. Originally, if he wanted to advance to the transcendence realm, he would probably need at least a few decades, but after the dual cultivation with the Blue Yuan, he devoured the huge amount of Blue Yuan's bloodline energy. Chapter 1852. Not enough, I don't have enough heaven and earth elemental energy. Although Xia Ping sensed that his spiritual energy and primordial spirit had reached the peak of the returning truth realm, if he wanted to break through to the transcendence realm and condense a heaven and earth dharma, the amount of heaven and earth elemental energy he needed was unimaginable. After all, his condensing of heaven and earth dharma was different from others. Others only needed to condense 1, but he needed to condense 9. This already surpassed countless living beings. Luckily, he had entered the demon realm and killed a large number of demon kings. From them, he had obtained countless pills and spiritual medicines. These things were more than enough for him to break through to the transcendence realm. Thinking of this, Xia Ping didn't hesitate. With a thought, he took out a large number of pills and activated his martial mystic arts to condense the sun furnace. Instantly, these pills were refined by the sun furnace. The impurities were removed, leaving behind only the purest essence of energy. That was a ball of golden medicinal energy. Under Xia Ping's control, it opened its mouth and swallowed everything. It was as though every pore on his body had become a mouth, producing an incomparable devouring power. Rumble, the huge amount of medicinal energy crazily surged into Xia Ping's body. After that, it circulated through his meridians and entered his 9 violet mansions, merging with his 9 primordial spirits. His 9 primordial spirits suddenly emitted cracking sounds. His primordial spirits cracked like an eggshell, as though something was about to break out from the depths of his primordial spirit and leave his body. It's time. Xia Ping's heart was incomparably excited, surging like the tides. Dong. At that instant his body shook. His primordial spirit, which was originally in the depths of his violet mansions, split apart, transforming into boundless golden light and boundless fog. Beneath the mist and the golden light, numerous Dharma idols of heaven and earth appeared, stretching across the sky. Without a doubt, Xia Ping had already broken through to the transcendence realm. He had condensed all 9 Dharma on his body, floating in the air. The violet mansions were broken and Dharma was born. One after another, Dharma forms walked out from the void. They were like gods standing tall in the world. This? Xia Ping sensed the first heaven and earth Dharma idol walking out from the depths of the fog. It was a Kuei ox, a legendary divine beast that controlled thunder and lightning. Countless thunder runes coiled around its body, and with a single roar, it seemed like it could tear the heavens and earth apart. It was like the ruler of thunder. From its body, one could sense a tyrannical destructive power, as if it was the ruler of judgment. Another Dharma idol appeared, wreathed in dark golden flames. It was the three-legged golden crow of hell, which hovered silently in the void like a blazing sun in the dark true void, capable of ripping apart the darkness in its wake. An indescribable nobility emanated from its body, as if it was the most ancient existence. The third heaven and earth Dharma idol was a divine elephant that towered between the heavens and the earth. It raised its head to the heavens and roared. Its feet stepped on hell and its head rested on the heavens. It stretched across the void and displayed incomparably terrifying power. A slight shake of its trunk seemed to be able to shake the void and shatter planets. The fourth Dharma idol was a heavenly dragon. It moved through the clouds and rain, surrounded by clouds and mist. It soared through the air, displaying an unparalleled aura. Countless heavenly dragon runes appeared on the surface of its body. The fifth heaven and earth Dharma idol was a starry sky diagram. This was the myriad world starry sky diagram, and it hung in the sky. Densely packed stars appeared, as if it contained the true essence of the universe. The sixth heaven and earth Dharma idol was a Tautai. It was pitch black, and emanated an evil, dark aura that could devour anything and everything. In fact, even the light around it was distorted, forming a black hole. The seventh heaven and earth Dharma idol was a Buddha with 1,000 hands. The moment it appeared, it seemed as if millions of arhats and bodhisattvas were chanting, causing the universe to tremble. Vaguely, the six-syllable mantra of Buddhism could be heard from the depths of the void. The eighth heaven and earth Dharma idol was a fiend devil from hell. It had 1,000 eyes and was clearly the 1,000-eyed fiend devil. Each and every one of its eyes radiated an evil and cruel will. It was as if each and every eye represented the evils and sins of the world, causing millions of fiend devils to wail. The ninth heaven and earth Dharma idol was the world tree, which emanated wood-type power as well as the power of yin and yang, life force, space, and the power of the world. It was as if it was a god that held up the entire universe. Every branch extended out, and its roots pierced through the void. It was in the middle, commanding the other 8 heaven and earth Dharma idols. When the 9 Dharma idols appeared, a huge phenomenon occurred within a radius of several thousand light-years. Within this range, every planet trembled completely, experiencing a huge tremor. There were golden crows of hell burning, heavenly dragons roaring, divine elephants running, Kuei summoning lightning punishment, star charts gathering the power of the stars, Tautai giving birth to a black hole, billions of arhats and bodhisattvas chanting, and billions of fiend devils wailing. When these powers gathered together, it was as if the universe was being born and destroyed, and the world was being split apart. The power of heaven and hell appeared, and life and death intersected. It was earth-shattering. Even the scene of a powerhouse at the peak of the thunder tribulation realm about to ascend to saint would not be anything like this. The appearance of these phenomena also alarmed many of the nearby powerhouses. Even saints were alarmed. What's going on? Such a phenomenon actually appeared. Could it be that some powerhouse is about to ascend to saint? Impossible. There is no aura of lightning punishment. It's not a sign of ascension to saint. If it's not ascension to saint, then a secret treasure may have appeared. Investigate. Investigate immediately. See if there are any secret treasures appearing. This is a great opportunity. One by one, the powerhouses transmitted their divine senses and immediately went to investigate what was happening with the phenomena. Even saints planned to take action personally. Unfortunately, Xiaoping was staying in the Demon Temple. The Demon Temple was considered one of the most tyrannical divine artifacts in the universe. Its ability to hide its tracks was too strong. Even saints could not find it. If it did not have this ability, the Demon Temple would not have been able to hide for so long without being discovered by other saints. Therefore, Xiaoping hiding in the Demon Temple to ascend to the Transcendence realm could be considered to have avoided a disaster. He would not be discovered by strong enemies because of the various phenomena that occurred during the ascension. Some saints were not willing to give up. They carefully explored, but in the end they gave up. This was because they also found that no matter how they searched, there seemed to be a mysterious and powerful force preventing them from exploring further. This also made many saints very afraid. They all speculated that this might not be the birth of a treasure, but a phenomenon produced by a powerhouse secretly cultivating. Chapter 1853. Some sages gave up on the chase, but the Almighties didn't notice the danger. They still sent experts to search for the places where these phenomena were born. Disciples of many sects in the southern universe all moved out, hoping to find the place where the Dharma treasures were born. At this time, Xiaoping didn't know that his advancement to the Transcendence realm had caused such a big commotion. But he didn't have time to care about this. He was still immersed in the joy of advancing to the early stage of the Transcendence realm. Too strong. Xiaoping found that after he advanced to the Transcendence realm, the 9 purple mansions in his body had expanded twice as much as before. The Dharma power in his body was also many times denser. Now he felt that he had infinite Dharma power. Every move he made could blow up a planet with his bare hands. His power was unparalleled and unparalleled. At the same time, the power of his divine sense was many times stronger. With the 9 primordial spirits combined, his divine sense could cover 300 million kilometers. Many people would be scared to death if this news spread. More importantly, he had condensed 9 transcendence realms. He had fused his primordial spirit, Dharma power, and so on into one. The combat power he could display was incomparable. The Golden Crow of Hell bloodline has also been strengthened. Xiaoping felt that after this dual cultivation, the Golden Crow of Hell bloodline in his body was much denser than before. He carefully sensed that he had awakened 55 million Golden Crow of Hell cells. At this moment, every Golden Crow of Hell cell in his body was extremely powerful. They were like Golden Crow runes of Hell. They contained terrifying energy like stars. It could be said that this dual cultivation and his advancement to the Transcendence realm had brought him great benefits. Oh, the Blue Luan has also advanced? Xiaoping quickly discovered that the Blue Luan's body had also undergone earth-shattering changes. First was the primordial spirit dual cultivation. His primordial spirit and the Blue Luan's primordial spirit combined, causing the Blue Luan's soul power to strengthen, and strengthen again. Because the soul was strong enough, the Blue Luan's bloodline memory had also been awakened. Endless Blue Luan's inheritance surged out from the depths of her bloodline and entered the deepest part of her mind. It was as if an ancient divine beast had finally been born in this era. Her bloodline had also undergone a huge transformation and evolution. Previously she had only awakened 20%, but now it was different. She had awakened 60% of the Blue Luan's bloodline. The reason why she could awaken so many bloodline powers was that the Azure Luan obtained too many benefits from Xiaoping. First of all, Xiaoping's body was nourished by the Golden Crow of Hell's bloodline. After receiving the nourishment of this primordial divine beast's energy, it stimulated the awakening of the Blue Luan bloodline, causing it to undergo a huge evolution. Following that, he began dual cultivation with Xiaoping. His massive Dharma power surged into the Green Luan's body. The Dharma power of a Dharma characteristic realm mighty figure was a high-level energy supplement to her. He even cultivated his soul, making contact with the world tree in the depths of Xiaoping's soul. Boundless energy from the world tree was transmitted to him, transforming into boundless energy. This energy that came from the source entered Qing Luan's body, cleansing every inch of her flesh and blood, every inch of her soul, every bone, every cell, and so on, causing her body to undergo a transformation that was akin to being reborn. Dong. Just then, Xiaoping sensed that the Green Luan's cultivation was rising steadily, breaking through all the way. It was as though there were no bottlenecks at all. After breaking through several realms, she had actually advanced to the Golden Core realm and formed her Golden Core. Thousands of vortexes formed in her body. It was as though every acupoint had turned into a Dantian's Qi Sea, crazily devouring the essence Qi between heaven and earth, as well as the boundless energy in the depths of the dimension. An aura that came from the primordial divine beast also surged out of her body, rising abruptly. Tyrannical soul power tore tiny cracks in the void above her head. It was obvious that she was communicating with the dimension world. She clearly hadn't formed her primordial spirit yet, but she had the power to communicate with the dimension world. It was simply incredible. The Dharma power in her body surged like a hidden river. It was overturning the seas and the winds and clouds surged. Terrifying power was brewing inside, boiling continuously. Boom. After an unknown period of time, the Green Luan finally stopped cultivating and woke up from her unconscious state. At this moment, a mysterious green pattern appeared between her brows. This was the manifestation of the Green Luan bloodline after it had reached a certain level of density. It seemed to contain unfathomable power, able to draw upon the power of the void and destiny. The Green Luan opened her beautiful eyes and looked at Xiaoping in front of her. Her pretty face couldn't help but reveal a hint of shyness. Her pretty face was slightly red like a ripe apple, beautiful beyond compare. No matter how mature she was in the face of such a situation, she was still extremely shy. She more or less didn't know what to do. After all, she had never experienced such a situation before. Although this time she lost her chastity and suffered a great loss to this shameless bastard, she also knew that this time was just an accident. It was the instinctive impulse of her bloodline. She couldn't blame him. Even she herself seemed to be unable to control it. "You're awake." Xia Ping blinked his eyes and looked at the green wand in front of him, revealing an innocent and pure look. "Slut, let go of me." The Dharma power on the green wand's body shook slightly. With a dong, it immediately shook the slut Xia Ping off her body. Then she grabbed with her big hand and took out a green long dress from the space ring. She immediately put it on, covering her perfect, mature and hot figure. Only then did she calm down a little. Xia Ping also quickly put on his clothes. Originally he still wanted to say something, but at this moment, a quiet room in the distance suddenly opened. Tu Linglong ran out excitedly and shouted, "Ha, Sister Green Wand, I succeeded. I finally refined the black hole worm. You probably don't know how many benefits I've obtained this time. My Dharma power has advanced by leaps and bounds. Soon the world will know how powerful I, the space-time rabbit Linglong, am." She rushed out of the quiet room in an instant. Then she stopped talking because she saw that Xia Ping and the green wand were actually standing together. Of course, just standing together was nothing, but out of a woman's instinct, she clearly felt that something unusual had just happened between Xia Ping and the green wand. The atmosphere was very strange. But what exactly had happened she couldn't sense. Her beautiful eyes sized up Xia Ping and the green wand suspiciously, as if she wanted to see what had happened between the two of them. "What did the two of you do here just now? Why does it feel so strange?" Tu Linglong walked over. "We didn't do anything. The two of us just wanted to be intimate, but we didn't expect you to suddenly appear. We were almost caught in bed by you," Xia Ping said carelessly. The green wand's pretty face blushed. She glared at Xia Ping fiercely, wanting to bite him. "You really touched my sore spot. Go away." Tu Linglong didn't believe Xia Ping's nonsense at all. She said angrily, "You want to be intimate with me? A toad wanting to eat swan meat. Dream on. Don't be delusional." She went up and pulled the green wand over. She looked at Xia Ping with disdain. Chapter 1854. Not far from the primitive planet where the Demon Saint Temple was located, a black spaceship was traveling through the starry sky. It was heading toward the planet where Xia Ping and the others were at a very fast speed. 4 big words appeared on the outer shell of the spaceship: Limitless Demon Palace. These 4 big words seemed to be condensed from demonic energy, wriggling like demonic insects. Everyone in the southern universe knew that the Limitless Demon Palace was a sacred sect. It was even stronger than the Myriad Poison sect. It was definitely a tyrannical demonic Tao sect. The humans who cultivated in this sect were all vicious and ruthless. They killed people like flies. At this moment, hundreds of elders and disciples of the Limitless Demon Palace appeared on the spaceship. They wore white clothes with the words "Limitless Demon Palace" engraved on their backs. His clothes were covered with densely packed black and white patterns. They were eerie and twisted, as if they contained a terrifying power of distortion. They exuded a terrifying demonic aura that struck fear into the hearts of those who saw them. A few days ago, a heaven and earth phenomenon appeared in this star field. It covered thousands of light years. The scene was shocking. It suspected that a secret treasure was born. "Great Elder, is the location of the secret treasure really near here? Did we look in the wrong place?" "Yes, a star field of thousands of light years is too big. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack to find the secret treasure." "Is definitely right. I found that the center of the heaven and earth phenomenon is near here. As long as we search carefully, we will definitely find something. Great Elder's divination technique is unparalleled. Since he dares to say this, he must be confident." Many elders and disciples of the Limitless Demon Palace discussed. They were at least at the early stage of Law Phase realm. The strongest among them, the Great Elder, was at the early stage of Lightning Tribulation realm. All of them were proud and arrogant. Their bodies were filled with terrifying demonic energy and killing intent. They were also surrounded by terrifying resentment. It was as if countless blood-colored skeletons and ghosts had appeared. From this, it could be seen that they had killed a lot of living beings to have so much resentment on their bodies. But what kind of secret treasure is it? This heaven and earth phenomenon is so shocking that it covered thousands of light years. Is it the birth of a sacred artifact? A disciple of the Limitless Demon Palace guessed. No, no, no. Even the birth of a sacred artifact would not produce such an astonishing phenomenon. That secret treasure is probably even more valuable than an ordinary sacred artifact. A greedy look appeared in the eyes of an elder from the limitless demon palace. Is it possible that the myriad heavens fortune map has appeared? According to the patriarch, the fortune atlas of the heavens will appear soon. This news has already attracted the attention of countless forces in the universe. They're ready to make a move, and undercurrents are surging in the dark. Even the forces of the central cosmos have sent their genius disciples to the four great cosmoses to enter the myriad heavens creation diagrams and obtain fortuitous encounters and treasures. Hearing these words, the eyes of the elders of the limitless devil palace flashed with a horrifying light. They had heard many legends about the myriad heavens fortune diagram. It was a peak spatial saint artifact, the life magic treasure of the saint of good fortune. The power of this magic treasure was incomparably tyrannical, matchless, and invincible. Even a saint couldn't do anything to it. It was said that many cultivators who entered the myriad heavens fortune diagram had obtained great fortuitous encounters. Even a nameless nobody could obtain a fortuitous encounter and become a saint. Therefore, every time the myriad heavens fortune diagram appeared, it would cause a reign of terror in the entire universe. It was unknown how many old monsters hidden in the depths of the universe would make a move. It's not impossible. The great elder of the limitless demon palace narrowed his eyes. After all, the opportunity to enter the myriad heavens fortune diagram is too rare. Even the lofty holy lands of the human race in the central cosmos couldn't help but send their experts to fight for it. One can well imagine the fortuitous encounters inside. Most importantly, the myriad heavens fortune diagram is about to appear. It traverses the entire universe and it comes and goes without a trace. The entrance could appear anywhere. We can't rule out this possibility. That's great. If we can find the entrance to the myriad heavens fortune diagram, then we can be the first to enter and seize the initiative. We can obtain endless fortuitous encounters. At that time, our limitless demon palace will definitely become the #1 demonic sect in the southern cosmos. Many elders of the limitless demon palace were extremely excited. Let's go. Don't waste any more time. The appearance of the myriad heavens fortune diagram was not only discovered by our limitless demon palace. Other sects like the 10,000 Poison sect, the Dark Shadow sect, and the Evil Kill sect have also sent their experts. We can't let these guys snatch the initiative. The great elder of the limitless demon palace said in a deep voice. Of course. Great elder, whoever dares to snatch the fortuitous encounter of our limitless demon palace will be killed without mercy. Many elders of the limitless demon palace were filled with murderous intent. After a few days, Xiaoping had been staying in the Demon Saint Hall. After all, he had just advanced to the early stage of the Transcendence realm. He needed to consolidate his magic power cultivation. Otherwise, his foundation might become unstable. After several days of cultivation, he could be considered to have completely stabilized his Transcendence realm cultivation. At the same time, he also had 9 great Transcendence realms that belonged to him. He could already use this power freely. Moreover, the magic power and primordial spirit in his body had also greatly improved because of this closed-door cultivation. They were much more tyrannical than before. His magic power had almost filled every corner of his body. It was extremely tyrannical. Now he didn't even know how powerful he was. During this time, Green Luan didn't meet with Xiaoping. She found an excuse to cultivate in seclusion. It seemed that it was very embarrassing to meet Xiaoping, so she simply chose not to meet with him. As for Tu Linglong, she would occasionally meet with Xiaoping. However, after she refined the black hole worm, it seemed that the attribute of her body was very compatible with the black hole worm. Therefore, the magic power in her body was improving by leaps and bounds. Of course, no matter how fast her improvement was, she couldn't compare with Green Luan, who had previously cultivated with Xiaoping and awakened most of her bloodline. Dong. At this time, Xiaoping felt a repulsive force coming from the depths of the Demon Saint Hall. Almost in an instant, he was expelled from the Demon Saint Hall and came to an open space outside. Xiaoping, the location of the Demon Saint Hall is going to change. We are going to go for the next trial. It will only stop when we advance to the Demon Saint realm. This time we will say goodbye. Let's meet again in the future. Green Luan's voice came out and was transmitted to Xiaoping's mind. This was the first time that Green Luan and Xiaoping had spoken in the past few days. However, before Xiaoping could say anything, with a bang, the Demon Saint Hall shook slightly. A large golden palace merged into the space, shining brightly. In an instant, It left this space and teleported to an unknown place. Is it gone? Xia Ping stood in the distance. He didn't feel sad. All good things must come to an end. Moreover, there would always be a time when they would meet again in the future. There was nothing to worry about. Boom. Chapter 1855. Yeah. Xia Ping turned his head and saw many cultivators dressed in white clothes appearing in front of him. They were all wearing white clothes, and the words "Limitless Demon Palace" were written on their backs. When these people stood together, it seemed as if they had intentionally or unintentionally formed a demonic path formation. The demonic path magic power within their bodies resonated with each other, as if a peerless demon lord was about to be born. The entire sky seemed to be shrouded in dark clouds, covering the sky and covering the sun. Demonic energy soared into the sky, and ghostly wails and wolf howls could be heard. The imposing manner was terrifying, and even the primitive planet was trembling. Be careful, these are the disciples and elders of the limitless demon palace of the southern universe. They are even stronger than the myriad poison sect. Moreover, these disciples of the limitless demon palace are peerless demons, and they are not to be trifled with. At this time, Corinne's voice transmitted over, and he immediately recognized the true identity of these people. Kid, where is that palace from just now? Where did it go? I saw that you walked out of that palace, and I wonder what kind of fortuitous encounter you had? An elder of the limitless demon palace stared at Xia Ping. They had searched countless planets in the vicinity, trying to find the place where the heavenly phenomenon had appeared. But even after searching for several days, they still hadn't found anything. But now that they had arrived at this primitive planet, they actually discovered an ancient and tyrannical mysterious palace. All of them were immediately overjoyed, thinking that they had finally found the place where the heavenly phenomenon had appeared. But who would have thought that they couldn't break through the restriction formation of the palace, and they couldn't even get close to it? Just when these elders of the limitless demon palace wanted to inform the experts of the sect to come over, they discovered that the mysterious palace had torn the void and instantly escaped. They couldn't stop it at all. Just as they were pounding their chests, thinking that they had missed a great opportunity, they saw another figure walk out of the palace. This time they were in trouble. These elders of the limitless demon palace immediately thought that this kid must have obtained countless fortuitous encounters in the mysterious palace, and after completing the fortuitous encounter, the mysterious palace had escaped. Therefore they immediately surrounded this kid, trying to find the secret of the mysterious palace from him. What fortuitous encounter I obtained has nothing to do with you. This is my secret. Xia Ping cast a sidelong glance at the group of elders of the limitless demon palace. Good kid, you have guts. Do you know who we are? Limitless Devil Palace. Have you heard of the Limitless Devil Palace? An elder sneered and stared at Xia Ping ferociously. You offended our Limitless Devil Palace. It would be hard for you to die even if you wanted to. You actually want to keep this a secret? What a fool's dream. Speak. Immediately tell me what's going on with that mysterious palace. What's the relationship between it and the myriad heavens fortune diagram? Immediately tell me everything. Otherwise you will suffer a fate worse than death today. Even your friends and family will suffer the same fate as you, and your entire clan will be exterminated. Think about it carefully. My limitless devil palace isn't interested in joking around with you. Another red-haired elder stared at Xia Ping, his body exuding a terrifying demonic aura and monstrous killing intent. Vaguely, a Dharma idol of heaven and earth appeared behind him. It was a burly man with a green face and sharp fangs. He had 3 heads and 6 arms, holding a huge blade and a long spear. His entire body was crimson, and there seemed to be countless vengeful spirits in his body, causing people to shudder. The other elders of the limitless devil palace were also seething with killing intent. They wanted to obtain the fortuitous encounter in the myriad heavens fortune diagram to the point that they were about to go crazy. Anyone who dared to obstruct them from obtaining the fortuitous encounter was an enemy and had to die. Now that there was such an opportunity to obtain a fortuitous encounter, how could they give it up? They wanted to know this secret even if they died. They were able to sense that the mysterious palace from before contained supreme secrets. Numerous restrictions and formations were inscribed on it, and they were unfathomable and extraordinary. It simply aroused extreme worship, and it was utterly not something an ordinary magic treasure could compare to. What bullshit limitless devil palace? I've never even heard of a small sect before. How dare you clamor in front of me? Xia Ping waved his hand. Scram. Scram without stopping. You can still have a chance to live while I'm not angry. Otherwise, all of you will die here today, and your 10,000 years of cultivation will be destroyed in a day." He uttered an ultimatum. "Stubborn dog. This brat won't repent until he sees his coffin. Kill him immediately. Extract his soul and burn it in the demonic flames for 3 days and 3 nights. Let's see if he can still be so arrogant then." Hearing this, the group of elders of the limitless Devil Palace were enraged. They couldn't restrain their anger. They had never seen an existence that dared to disregard and even humiliate the people of the limitless Devil Palace like this. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to endure such humiliation. Not to mention that they were terrifying demons who would commit all kinds of crimes and kill people like flies. How could they endure it? Kill. Limitless Devil Axe. In an instant, a 3-meter-tall man flew out. He was a terrifying expert at the peak of the Dharma plane. A Dharma idol immediately appeared from his body. It was a huge demon. It was more than 100 zhang tall, like a mountain. It held a black devil axe in its hand. Dense demonic runes appeared on the axe, and the demonic runes twisted like earthworms. The demon emitted a terrifying, bloody, crazy, and murderous aura. It was especially so for that black devil axe. It was unknown how many lives it had slaughtered. Even the resentment had condensed into a black color. It was as if it was a sin from the abyss. Kill? The big man roared, and the axe chopped down from the void. It was earth-shattering, and it contained an unparalleled sharpness. It was as if this primitive planet was going to be chopped in half by this axe. Boom! At this moment, Xia Ping stood at his original position. A tyrannical primordial spirit rushed out from the depths of his purple palace. It gathered the energy of heaven and earth within 3,000 miles. Suddenly, 1,000 zhang tall Buddha with 1,000 hands appeared in front of the elders of the limitless Devil Palace. The moment it appeared, it grew thousands of arms. Its entire body was golden, and it shone brightly. Its entire body was like golden glass. The chanting of billions of Buddhas could be faintly heard from the depths of the void. Countless Buddhist runes descended from the void and turned into lotus flowers. The Buddha with 1,000 hands stood upright in the void. It lowered its head slightly and had a compassionate look on its face. It was as if all the evil in the world had turned into nothingness in front of it. Facing this demonic axe, it gently slapped out with its golden hand. Dong. With just one palm, the giant axe of the demon was instantly turned into dust. All the demonic aura was rapidly purified into nothingness under the illumination of the Buddha's light. It was like ice and snow meeting sunlight, melting away. Ah! The entire heaven and earth Dharma idol was destroyed. That burly man screamed in pain. Because the heaven and earth Dharma idol was a supreme energy condensed from one's primordial spirit. Now that it was destroyed, his primordial spirit was directly injured. It was equivalent to his soul being torn apart. Even if a man was kicked in the vitals, he wouldn't be able to endure such pain. But this wasn't the end. That golden hand smashed the heaven and earth Dharma idol. After that, it directly reached the body of the burly man and ruthlessly slammed into his body. Boom. Instantly, that burly man's entire body was smashed into the ground. His entire body was smashed into smithereens, and a golden palm print that spanned 3,000 miles appeared on the ground. The surrounding soil seemed to have been corroded by the Buddha's energy, turning into a golden glass. Too weak. Chapter 1856. Junior Brother Li. The elders of the limitless demon palace couldn't help but roar when they saw the big man being smashed into minced meat. They were furious to the extreme. This was their limitless demon palace's law phase elder. He had a high status and was equivalent to a general. But now he was smashed to death in front of them. Not even his bones were left. They couldn't even save him in time. This bastard even looked down on Junior Brother Li's strength. He said that Junior Brother Li was too weak and couldn't withstand a single blow. How much did this bastard look down on people? Hearing these words, even a clay figurine would get angry. Actually, this couldn't be blamed on the limitless demon palace's elder being too weak. The current Xia Ping was too powerful. He had the infernal golden crow bloodline and the world tree in the depths of his primordial spirit. He had devoured countless tyrannical souls and even opened up 9 purple palaces. His magic power was boundless beyond everyone's imagination. Even divine beasts couldn't compare. When he was only at the returning nature realm, he could sweep away most law phase realm experts. His primordial spirit was tyrannical and his combat power was earth-shattering. Now that he had advanced to the law phase realm, he had condensed the heaven and earth law phase and completely fused his essence, energy and soul into one. His magic power had transformed, and his combat power was even more tyrannical. Only Thunder Retribution Realm experts had any hope of surviving his attacks. Everyone else basically had no choice but to die. Since you dared to kill Junior Brother Li, you are courting death. This old man will definitely kill you and pull out your tendons. Demonic Divine Ability, Sinking Darkness Technique. At this moment, the Limitless Demon Palace's Great Elder, an early-stage Thunder Tribulation Realm expert, a red-haired old man, was furious. His eyes revealed a fierce and cold light. Terrifying black demonic energy surged out of his body, turning the surrounding thousands of kilometers into a dark starfield. One couldn't even see their fingers in front of them. However, this wasn't ordinary demonic energy. It was sinful demonic energy from the darkness dimension. It contained the aura of depravity, corrosion, and sin. It could make people fall into the Avicii hell and suffer eternal torture. At the same time, the sinful demonic energy could corrode one's magic power. Once one was invaded by the demonic energy, one's entire body would be infected by the demonic energy. Even one's soul would sink into it, turning into an emotionless demon of slaughter. By relying on this demonic path cultivation technique, this great elder of the demonic path from the Limitless Demon Palace was invincible. He was known as the greatest demon of his generation, and it was unknown how many lives he had killed. In the past, when this demonic art was used, all the living beings on a planet would be corroded. In the end, they would all become mindless demons who would kill each other and kill each other. Under the Great Elder's control, the demonic chi seemed to have a life of its own as it formed into a terrifying blade that sliced through the void. Boom! Beams of black saber light bombarded Xiaoping, causing the entire planet and the ground to tremble. It seemed to contain a power that could destroy the heavens and the earth. Even the space was torn apart, causing cracks to appear. Everything in front of this black saber glow would be sliced into powder and cease to exist. In fact, this black saber glow contained sinful demonic energy that could affect one's soul and produce hallucinations, causing one's life to fall into an endless abyss and never be able to rise again. Such an attack was almost the full power of an early-stage Thunder Tribulation Realm powerhouse. Such a killing intent was enough to tear a planet apart and cause this primitive planet to completely collapse. Immovable Rulai. Xiaoping didn't even look at it. With a thought, the thousand-armed Buddha behind him immediately made its move. Its 3 golden arms danced and seemed to form seals, turning into a swastika symbol that contained a supreme Buddhist voice. This palm slapped over. It seemed to be an eternal and indestructible palm that blasted out suppression, indestructibility, eternity, supreme and other great Buddhist powers, suppressing all great existences. Vaguely, there seemed to be an undying Rulai residing in the depths of this giant golden palm. This giant golden palm directly tore through the dark sky curtain. When the sinful demonic energy encountered the supreme Buddhist light, it was instantly destroyed as if it had been completely purified. The entire world was illuminated by the Buddhist light, and all the demonic energy disappeared without a trace. The Limitless Demon Palace's Great Elder didn't expect such a scene to happen. He was caught off guard and was sent flying by the palm. He was actually sent flying out of this primitive planet and out of outer space, arriving at a nearby planet. Boom. His entire body collapsed on that desolate planet, and everything within a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers collapsed. A giant golden swastika symbol appeared on the ground, and the surrounding soil took on the shape of golden glass. Following that, the Limitless Demon Palace's Great Elder kept coughing out blood. His internal organs were smashed into meat paste, and the terrifying Buddhist light invaded the depths of his lungs, disrupting the circulation of the magic power in his body. Impossible. What's going on? My Sinking Darkness technique is a supreme Devil Dao cultivation technique. It absorbs the sinful demonic energy in the depths of the darkness dimension, and after 9,999 years of tempering, it has finally reached the large success stage. Once the Devil Dao is unleashed, it can immediately break through the eternity and destroy planets. It contains endless transformations. Even the supreme chi of righteous cultivators can't resist the sinful demonic energy in my body. It comes from the same source as the primordial demonic energy. If an ordinary person were to take a hit from me, their magic power would immediately be eroded, and they would instantly fall into depravity, turning into a demonic creature that has lost all reason and will never be able to reincarnate. But now, the sinful demonic energy in my body was actually destroyed with a single palm. Kid, where did you come from? Could it be that you're a son of Buddha from a Buddhist sect? Could it be that you have inherited the Buddha's legacy? The Limitless Demon Palace's Great Elder screamed, feeling very unwilling. As the Limitless Demon Palace's great elder, he had roamed the universe for tens of thousands of years, killed countless people and committed many evil deeds. But there was still no one who could deal with him, and he could get away with it and do whatever he wanted. But now he had encountered a junior who had actually beaten him to such a state with a single palm. His soul was destroyed on the spot. Faced with such an ending, how could he be willing? Great Elder. Many of the Limitless Demon Palace's great elders were also filled with grief and indignation. Even if they were separated by a planet, the people present were basically almighties at the law phase realm and above. Their divine senses were tyrannical. Not to mention that they were separated by a planet. Even if they were separated by dozens of planets, they would still be able to hear each other's voices. Hearing the great elder's grief and indignation, they also felt sympathy for the death of a rabbit, and anger rose from their hearts. I can understand your feelings. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back. But this can't be blamed on you. You can be considered a pretty good expert among ordinary cultivators, but I'm really too strong. I'm so strong that I'm afraid of myself. Just now I couldn't control myself and I destroyed you with a single palm. But don't worry, it won't happen again. I'll do my best to send you to the next world with a single palm. You won't have to feel all kinds of suffering in the world. This is also a kind of mercy. You. Hearing this, the Limitless Demon Palace's great elder was extremely angry, and he accidentally touched the huge Buddhist power that Xia Ping had left in his body. At this moment he couldn't suppress it anymore. Boom. Chapter 1857. It's over. Junior Brother Li is dead. Even the great elder was killed by this kid. All the elders of the Limitless Devil Palace screamed in terror. They were terrified to the extreme. They thought that this kid was a weakling and they could kill him with a wave of their hand. But who would have thought that this kid was a fierce tiger? In an instant he killed 2 experts of the Limitless Demon Palace. Even the great elder was killed. At this moment, the eyes of another Limitless Demon Palace's lightning retribution realm elder shone fiercely. He shouted, "Little bastard, you dared to kill the elders of my Limitless Demon Palace. Do you know that every time we die we will leave behind a demonic spiritual mark? It's like a curse that will be left on your soul. The more you die, the stronger the curse. At that time, your body will be filled with the curse left by the disciples of my Limitless Demon Palace. Many experts of my Limitless Demon Palace will hunt you down. They will never give up. Moreover, this kind of curse will even penetrate deep into your bloodline. Even if you have descendants, you will also be cursed by my Limitless Devil Palace. We won't rest until we exterminate your entire clan. Have you thought about the consequences?" Demonic curse? I didn't expect you and the 10,000 poison sect to be jackals of the same lair. But do you think I will be afraid? Xia Ping grabbed with his hand. Suddenly 2 balls of black mist appeared in his hand. They emitted a cold, evil and cursed aura. There seemed to be a resentful soul crying in the depths of the black mist. There was an unfathomable demonic talisman in the depths of the mist. And this talisman was obtained from the bodies of the 2 elders of the Limitless Demon Palace. After they died, the power of the curse turned into mist and tried to wrap around Xia Ping's body like an evil ghost. But what kind of person was Xia Ping? He had condensed a heaven and earth incarnation. The power of his primordial spirit was much stronger than before. Moreover, he had encountered this kind of thing before, so he was already prepared. In the past, when he was weak, he had no way to stop it. But now, when the demonic curse approached his body, it was captured and sealed. This is the demonic curse of my Limitless Demon Palace. It is invisible and formless. You can actually capture it and seal it with your bare hands? When the elders of the Limitless Devil Palace saw this scene, their eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. They simply couldn't believe what they were seeing. This was because the demonic Tao's curse was extremely terrifying. It was shapeless and formless like maggots attached to the bones. Even if a Tribulation Lightning Realm expert encountered it, they would be helpless and unable to resist it. But now, this brat had actually grabbed it with his bare hands and casually squeezed it. It was truly unimaginable. They had lived for so long, but they had never seen something like this. Damn it. You can even catch the curse of my Limitless Demon Palace with your bare hands. This fellow's background is definitely not simple. He has a secret technique that specifically counters the cultivation techniques of our Limitless Demon Palace. Leave immediately. An elder of the Limitless Devil Palace jumped up and shouted angrily, "Send a signal. Immediately notify the elders of the Limitless Devil Palace. Tell them to send experts over and kill this fiend." All the elders of the limitless Devil Palace were stunned. All of them were experts above the Dharma plane. They were experienced and knowledgeable, and their magic power was vigorous. How could they know how terrifying a person who could resist the curse of the demonic path was? Such a person was unfathomable. Moreover, he had slaughtered the great elder. His strength was extraordinary. He wasn't someone they could resist at the moment. Staying here would only lead to death. However, if they could kill such an enemy, the limitless Devil Palace would definitely give them a huge reward. Even the sages might give them a fortuitous encounter, allowing them to obtain endless benefits. Therefore, they immediately sent a signal to inform the experts of the sect and the grand elders to quickly come over and kill this unprecedentedly strong enemy. You still want to inform the experts? It's useless. Today all of you will die in this place. No one can save you. Xia Ping grabbed with his big hand, and the infernal golden crow's flames gushed out of his body. In an instant, the two balls of the curse of the demonic path were burned into ashes. Shrill screams came from the depths of the void. Ordinary power couldn't destroy the power of the curse of the demonic path. However, the infernal golden crow's flames were different. It was one of the strongest flames in the world. There was nothing it couldn't burn. Boom. After the two curses of the demonic path were burned, the thousand-armed Buddha behind Xia Ping immediately moved. 1,000 golden arms moved together and grabbed at the void. Unexpectedly, the elemental power of the earth, wind, water, and fire in the world were all grabbed. Huge walls of air were instantly erected within a radius of several thousand kilometers. They sealed the sky and locked the earth. They were like a cube that enveloped the surroundings, forming a spatial cage. What? The elders of the limitless Devil Palace were shocked. They discovered that the walls of air were too hard. There were densely packed Buddhist runes all around them. It was as if they were scriptures. They were extremely hard, and they contained tyrannical Buddhist power. Golden light shone in all directions. In a short period of time, the walls of air turned into golden walls. No one could escape from them, regardless of whether they were in the sky or on the ground. Damn, you actually want to surround and kill us. Do you really think that we are clay that can be crushed to death by you? You are looking down on us too much. Seeing this scene, the elders of the limitless Devil Palace were furious. They could clearly see that the kid in front of them was afraid that they would escape. Therefore, he had set up a huge formation to prevent them from escaping. He simply didn't put them in his eyes. He thought that he could kill them all by himself. He is too arrogant. Let's set up the formation together and kill this kid. I want to see how this kid is going to kill us all. The disciples of the limitless Devil Palace are not to be trifled with. They were furious. They wanted to fight to the death with this kid and have a taste of the power of the limitless Devil Palace. 10,000 demon soul devouring formation. In an instant, the elders of the limitless Devil Palace scattered everywhere. They used their bodies as the nodes of the formation to provide a steady stream of demonic energy. Immediately, a profound, complicated, and mysterious demonic formation rose. It communicated with the darkness dimension, and demonic energy from the abyss poured down from the void, entering the center of the formation. Crash. The endless demonic energy seemed to transform into thousands of abyssal demons. They wailed like ghosts and howled like wolves, shaking the heavens and the earth. They were sinister and evil, and a cold wind blew. They pounced towards Xia Ping, wanting to tear his soul apart. These abyssal demons weren't ordinary demons. They were celestial demons. They were formless and formless. Ordinary cultivators wouldn't be able to resist them. They would be invaded in an instant, and their souls would be devoured. This was also one of the trump cards of the limitless Devil Palace. It could transform into celestial demons and kill enemies. Kid, die for me. This is my limitless Devil Palace's 10,000 demon soul devouring great formation. It can manifest the power of celestial demons. They are formless and formless. Even if your magic power reaches the heavens and you have peerless divine abilities, you won't be able to escape death. Chapter 1858. Sky Demons? Do you think I've killed a few sky demons? Die all of you. Xia Ping laughed coldly and activated the thousand-armed Buddha on his body. Suddenly, thousands of arms waved at the same time. Each arm was like an ancient sky dragon, fierce and unparalleled. This power was so strong that it was simply indescribable. It was as if each attack had the power to subdue dragons and tigers. It was unparalleled and invincible. Dong dong dong. In an instant, layers of golden palm prints appeared in mid-air. There were already millions of them, and each palm print contained the terrifying power of a sky dragon. It was as if an ancient sky dragon was attacking. With so many golden palm prints bombarding down, the entire area turned into a vacuum state. All the air was completely repelled. The soul-devouring formation suffered an unimaginable blow. Crack crack. Immediately, the lines of the formation broke and tiny cracks appeared. It was as if it was about to collapse. Puchi. Every elder of the limitless demon palace at the nodes of the formation vomited blood. Their lungs were injured, but they still held on. They absorbed the demonic aura from the depths of the dark dimension and barely managed to resist. Too strong. Is this really a practitioner who has just entered the Dharma stage? How can his Dharma be so strong? He's not human. His spiritual power is so strong that it's scary. Even the spiritual power of a tribulation cultivator is only this strong. Damn it. If this continues, we will definitely not be his match. The entire formation will collapse. There's no other way. Activate the ultimate secret of the soul-devouring formation. Soul-devouring formation. One battle to decide the outcome. Activate countless sky demons and kill this brat instantly and devour his soul. Many elders of the limitless demon palace shouted angrily. With a puff, they spat out a mouthful of blood onto the formation. This mouthful of blood was their life energy, and it contained a huge amount of energy. When this blood was poured onto the soul-devouring formation, the entire formation began to operate crazily. Holes in the dark dimension opened, and a huge amount of abyssal demonic aura gushed out like a river. In an instant, the entire planet was enveloped by the abyssal demonic aura. It was as if it had been completely eroded. This planet had already been completely eroded into the land of the abyss. In the depths of the array, the bodies of tens of thousands of heavenly demons had already solidified, emitting monstrous demonic chi. From the depths of the dimension of darkness, demonic path runes were poured into the array. Humans, there are humans here. Jia jia jia, I seem to smell the scent of fresh blood. Eat him, eat this human immediately. This is top-notch food. After eating it, our cultivation bases will definitely increase greatly. When these heavenly demons saw Xia Ping, they were like starving dogs fighting for food, revealing frenzied expressions. They could feel the rich essence blood energy in Xia Ping's body. This was simply a great supplement, equivalent to a supreme immortal pill. They were originally sky demons, shapeless and formless. They ignored the attacks of the Dharma form and directly reached Xia Ping's body. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The heavenly demons crazily surged into Xia Ping's body and invaded his sea of consciousness, wanting to devour his soul. Ah, he's dead for sure. This kid is dead for sure. Now that the heavenly demon has entered his body, his only fate is death. The numerous elders of the limitless devil palace laughed heartily, incomparably excited. They all felt that this kid in front of them would definitely die. After being invaded by heavenly demons, how could he not die? In the primordial era, heavenly demons had wreaked havoc, and it was unknown how many primordial almighties had been killed. This was a terrifying demon that caused people to tremble in fear upon hearing its name. There were almost no methods to resist it. With a single thought, another Dharma form rose from the depths of Xia Ping's sea of consciousness, transforming into the Taotai of the primordial 10 ferocious beasts. A frenzied and tyrannical aura spread out, shaking the heavens and earth. It stood in the void and opened its mouth, transforming into a black hole that produced a terrifying devouring force. Not good. This is the Taotai, a ferocious beast that devours everything. How can this be? How can this human be related to the Taotai? Run, hurry up and run. If you don't run, you're dead for sure. The 10,000 heavenly demons were originally feeling complacent and satisfied, planning to eat their fill. However, the moment they entered the depths of Xia Ping's sea of consciousness, they were immediately frightened to the point of wanting to escape. The Taotai was one of the primordial 10 ferocious beasts. According to legend, there was nothing it couldn't devour. Such a ferocious beast was not only famous in the human world, but also in the entire universe. Even in the Abyss realm, the name of the Taotai ferocious beast had spread, and it was listed as an existence that should never be provoked. It could be said that the Taoyu's appetite encompassed everything. Even the invisible and formless heavenly demons were on its menu. There was nothing in this universe that the Taotai couldn't devour. Facing such a primordial ferocious beast, even the heavenly demons were scared out of their wits. However, it was already too late for them to escape. Because these heavenly demons were too impatient, they were afraid that other heavenly demons would get there first, so they rushed in without a care for their lives. How could they stop at such a desperate speed? Not to mention that the Taotai was waiting for them. It operated the devouring divine ability and produced a terrifying devouring force. It was waiting for them to exhaust themselves. Even if they wanted to escape, it was impossible. Rumble in an instant, the 10,000 heavenly demons were all devoured by the Taotai. At the same time, they entered the depths of Xiaping's sea of consciousness. The infernal golden crow's flames burned, instantly refining these heavenly demons and transforming them into soul crystals. It had to be said that the soul energy contained in these heavenly demons was more than 10 times that of ordinary Dharma plane experts. The soul crystals that were condensed were also 10 times larger, and the quality was extremely high. Tastes good. Xiaping burped as if he had eaten a delicious meal. He felt that after refining these soul crystals, the magic power in his body was rising steadily, increasing by a large amount. It saved him hundreds of years of effort in condensing magic power. At the same time, the power of his primordial spirit was also increasing, and increasing. It was as if he had eaten 10 complete tonics. Impossible, 10,000 heavenly demons were all eaten by him. What kind of joke is this? Who is the real demon? Seeing this scene, many elders of the limitless demon palace collapsed, and they were scared half to death. Even if they were beaten to death, they would never have thought that such a thing would happen. 10,000 heavenly demons attacked together, but not only did they not kill this brat, but they were also swallowed whole by him as if he was eating candy. Oh my God, that was a heavenly demon, formless and incorporeal. It was the cruelest and most evil demon. Was it something that could be eaten just because one wanted to? This was too much, and it was unreasonable. Even if they thought that they had lived for 10,000 years and seen countless things, they had never seen such a thing. Someone was so cruel to this extent and even ate the heavenly demons raw. Was he still human? No, this brat isn't human. He's definitely not human. He's a peerless devil in human skin, an ancient ferocious beast. Fighting with him is courting death. Retreat immediately, we can't continue fighting. Chapter 1859. Seeing Xiaping swallow over 10,000 sky demons alive, the elders of the limitless demon palace were scared out of their wits. Their faces were ashen, and their bodies were trembling uncontrollably. To be honest, even if they were peerless demons who killed people like flies, they wouldn't be able to swallow sky demons alive. This wasn't a human at all. Even the abyss demons weren't as terrifying as him. In the eyes of these elders, Xiaping was no longer a human. Although this kid was emitting the aura of a human, he was definitely a peerless demon lord in the depths of his body. It was unknown where this old monster came from, but he wasn't someone they could fight against. So. In an instant, the 10,000 demon soul-devouring formation collapsed. The elders of the limitless demon palace fled in all directions. As the saying went, when the tree falls, the monkeys scatter. In the face of such a dangerous situation as selfish devils, how could there be any possibility of unity? They were immediately scared to the point of running around like headless flies. Thousand-armed Rulai. How could Xiaping let these demons escape? He circulated the magic power in his body, and the thousand-armed Buddha in the depths of the void took action. 1,000 arms turned into phantoms and attacked at the same time. In an instant, there seemed to be the sound of a bell ringing in the depths of the void. It shook people's hearts and caused the void to tremble. No! A bald elder of the limitless demon palace screamed. He couldn't dodge in time and was directly slapped down. It was like slapping a fly. His protective Dipper Chi, protective Dharma treasures and martial arts mystiques were instantly crushed like tofu, and he was smashed into a pile of minced meat. In just an instant, his body exploded in midair. His flesh and blood splattered all over the ground. No, don't kill me. An elder of the limitless demon palace who was good at movement techniques tried to dodge. His silhouette flickered, but it was useless. The Rulai's arm could see through illusions, predict the enemy's movements and capture their aura. Before the slap could land, a terrifying astral wind slapped over. As if being blown by a spatial storm, his frail little body was ruthlessly slapped away. With a thump, the elder was slapped into another planet like a fly. In the end, he collided with a mountain and was instantly shattered into pieces. His soul was destroyed. A crack that was thousands of kilometers long appeared on the ground. It was like this planet was being torn apart. Demon, I'm going to kill you. There was an elder of the limitless devil palace who saw that there was no way to evade. Evil rose from his guts and he was pushed to the brink of despair. This stimulated the boundless courage in his heart, and he wanted to fight with his life on the line. Peerless divine ability, 9 demonic fist. In an instant he blasted out 9 punches, almost exhausting all of his strength. They contained boundless demonic might and endless transformations. Layers upon layers of fist imprints and dense demonic chi. Even a planet would be completely destroyed by this punch. This was practically his pinnacle punch. It had surpassed his previous self and benefited a lot from it. He even felt that if he didn't die this time he would definitely be able to step into the lightning retribution realm and reach a higher level. However, it was completely useless. Rulai's palms slammed down from the sky. Chi waves surged, shaking the heaven and earth. The earth quaked and the mountains swayed. It was as if Mount Tai was pressing down, and there was no way to avoid it. Bang! The fist energy of the limitless Devil Palace's elder instantly shattered, and his body was sent flying like a piece of paper. He directly exploded in midair, turning into a pile of minced meat. Before he died, his eyes were wide open as if he could not believe that he, a mighty demonic cultivator at the peak of the Dharma stage, had been killed with a single blow. Rumble, after a few breaths, the war drums rumbled and the void trembled. Then it stopped abruptly and the screams stopped. This was because all the limitless Devil Palace elders at the scene had died. Not a single one of them had survived. At this moment the entire planet was filled with countless potholes, just like the surface of the moon. Every huge pothole represented a sign that an elder of the limitless Devil Palace had fallen. On the ground, huge golden hand imprints also appeared, and the entire planet was filled with a dense Buddhist aura. After such a bombardment, the primitive planet did not seem to have collapsed. Instead, after being slapped by the thousand-armed Buddha, it was as if a magic treasure was being tempered. The planet received the blessing of supreme Buddhist power and became even sturdier. If someone saw this planet from the outside, they would definitely be indescribably shocked. This was because this planet appeared to be shining brightly, shining with golden light. Its outer appearance was like a golden ball, and every inch of its surface was covered with the color of golden glaze. In the depths of the planet, there seemed to be a swastika symbol engraved. It was as if Buddha had descended on this planet and was displaying a miracle. If there was no one obstructing this Buddhist aura, it would probably be able to last for tens of thousands of years without dissipating. If a Buddhist passed by, they might be able to comprehend some of the mysteries of Buddhist techniques and comprehend them on the spot. Is this the scene of a battle between Dharma plane experts? At this moment, Xia Ping had a deeper understanding of the power of the Dharma plane realm. It contained a mighty power that could change the world. If it was a battle between demonic Tao experts, it would definitely cause irreparable damage to the environment. Everywhere would be filled with murderous intent and demonic aura, turning it into a forbidden zone that mortals couldn't approach. However, if it was a battle between righteous Tao experts, they could sometimes strengthen the environment and leave behind vibrant energy. It was like tempering a treasure, making it even more tyrannical. Different powers would exert different effects on the environment. Rumble, after comprehending for a period of time, Xia Ping made his move. He immediately collected all the space rings of these demonic Tao elders. The treasures, materials, pills and other treasures inside belonged to him. At the same time, the soul energy left behind by their deaths was completely absorbed and refined by him. He felt that his magic power had increased by a large amount, and his aura continued to rise. The large amount of magic power that he had used previously was also instantly replenished. Let's go back to the Chengkuan sect. Xia Ping sensed that there were no more fish that had escaped the net. Moreover, this was the southern universe, the territory of demonic Tao sects like the limitless demon palace. This time so many demonic Tao experts had died. It would probably cause great trouble. It wasn't good to stay here for long. Thinking of this, he immediately steered the myriad stars and quickly left this primitive planet. Not long after Xia Ping left, many demonic Tao experts sensed the intense battle here and quickly rushed over. They were all from the major forces of the southern universe. As soon as they arrived, they immediately discovered the remnant tyrannical martial aura on this planet. It was hair-raising and all of them were incomparably horrified. It's the people from the limitless demon palace. They were fighting with a terrifying demonic Tao expert, but they all died. None of them managed to escape. A Thunder Tribulation Realm demonic Tao expert said in a deep voice. Who exactly dared to attack the limitless demon palace? I don't know. To be able to kill so many elders of the limitless demon palace, this demonic Tao expert must be very powerful. Now is the time when the myriad heavens fortune map is about to appear, but such a thing happened. It's really troublesome times. No matter how many there are, we should hurry up and run. When the people from the limitless demon palace arrive, we might be misunderstood. Those people are all mad dogs. We can't provoke them. Chapter 1860. Very soon, the elders of the Limitless Devil Palace also rushed to the scene. When they saw their fellow disciples who had died, all of them were infuriated. They swore to capture the murderer and dismember him into 1,000 pieces. But no matter how angry they were, they could not find any trace of Xia Ping. That was because the curses left behind by these elders were quickly refined by Xia Ping, leaving nothing behind. In the end, this matter could only be left unsettled. A few days later, Xia Ping finally returned to the Jianghu sect with the stars. However, as soon as he returned to Jianghu sect, before he could do anything or rest in peace, he was called to the main hall by sect master Zhu Xian, saying that he had important matters to discuss. Sect leader, why did you call me here? Xia Ping arrived at the palace where the sect master, Zhu Xian, resided. Zhu Xian was not the only one here, there were also other elders of the sect present. It seemed like a sect meeting was being held. Junior brother Xia, have you advanced to the Transcendence realm? Sect master Zhu Xian stared at Xia Ping as if he had seen something unbelievable. Hearing this, all the elders were shocked. They could clearly feel that Xia Ping's aura was different from before. It was much stronger than before. Sect leader, you are indeed insightful. Not long ago, I had a fortuitous encounter, so I condensed the heaven and earth Dharma and advanced to the early stage Dharma phase realm, Xia Ping said humbly. What? Junior brother Xia has already condensed a heaven and earth manifestation and advanced to the manifestation realm? Some of the sect elders were dumbfounded. They simply couldn't believe what they had just heard. Are you kidding me? When junior brother Xia entered the heaven accessing place, he had just condensed his primordial spirit and reached the restoring nature realm. How could he condense the Dharma form of heaven and earth in such a short time? For a normal practitioner to break through from the returning nature stage to the Dharma stage, it is impossible without thousands of years of training. Some people are even stuck at the returning nature stage for their entire lives. But brother Xia, breaking through to the next stage is as easy as drinking water. My God, even a genius can't be this monstrous. This is too much. Is there no bottleneck to hinder his progress? Fortuitous encounter? What kind of fortuitous encounter allowed junior brother Xia to advance by leaps and bounds? He said he had a fortuitous encounter? That's bullshit. Junior brother Xia, that bastard, has fortuitous encounters every day. I've never seen anyone with such frequent fortuitous encounters. He's not human at all. He's simply the illegitimate child of fate. Comparisons are odious. Don't compare yourself with junior brother Xia. You'll really die from anger. Many Jianghu sect elders were dumbfounded. They were starting to doubt their lives. Honestly speaking, to be able to join the Jianghu sect and even kill their way out of the numerous genius disciples to rise to the elder level, they were also extremely proud. They felt that they were geniuses that only appeared once in 100 years, rarely seen in the world. But compared to Xia Ping, they felt that they had lived their lives in vain. This? The corner of Zhu Xian's mouth twitched. He was speechless as he looked at the humble Xia Ping. Even though he had great self-restraint, he could not help but feel a huge wave in the depths of his heart. A few years ago, this kid had just joined the Jianghu sect. At that time, he was just a newbie who had just entered the Purple Mansion realm. He didn't even understand the various things in the universe. But now he had become a wily old fox. He had condensed the heaven and earth Dharma idol and advanced to the Dharma idol realm. Such a cultivation level was already comparable to many of the elders in the sect. After a period of time, Xia Ping would probably be able to easily surpass him. Cough cough. Congratulations, junior brother Xia. It seems like the day you reach the sage realm is just around the corner. Zhu Xian coughed. Senior brother sect leader is too courteous. But I wonder why you called me here today? And why is it so grand? Xia Ping looked at the surroundings. He still wanted to know the reason why he was here today. It's like this. I believe you also know that the current universe is divided into 5 great regions. They are the Eastern Cosmos, Western Cosmos, Northern Cosmos, Southern Cosmos, and the Central Cosmos. Zhu Xian said in a deep voice, the Central Cosmos is the center of the entire universe. It is also the most flourishing region. It can be said to be the region where the universe strives for hegemony. All the races in the universe are gathered there. The headquarters of our human race, the true sacred ground, is also in the Central Cosmos. Xia Ping nodded to express that he understood and did not interrupt Zhu Xian. In order to become stronger, the human race needs geniuses. There are countless geniuses, so there are many training mechanisms. Zhu Xian continued, The central cosmos has two sacred grounds for the human race, the Holy Land of Taichu and the Palace of Darkness. These two sacred grounds gather countless geniuses from across the universe. You mean I have a chance to enter these two sacred grounds? Xiaoping seemed to have thought of something. Smart. Zhu Xian smiled slightly. In fact, the two sacred grounds of the human race will select geniuses from across the universe every 100 years to enter them for training. Every saint-level sect has a certain number of spots to enter the sacred grounds to cultivate. But we only have the right to nominate, not the right to select. The two sacred grounds will send people to test the candidates we nominate. If they pass, they will be allowed to enter the sacred grounds of the human race. I remember that I also went through a difficult test before I was finally allowed to enter the Holy Land of Taichu. I gained a lot of benefits and had the opportunity to advance to the Thunder Tribulation state. Otherwise, I don't know how difficult it would have been. He was very glad that if he had not entered the sacred grounds of the human race, it would have been extremely difficult for him to step into the Thunder Tribulation state. He would not have had the opportunity to peak at the peak of martial arts. At the same time, Zhu Xian also said that the Holy Land of Taichu was a force that the orthodox sects had joined. All of them practiced the orthodox cultivation methods, at least on the surface. And the Palace of Darkness was a sacred ground force that the demonic sects had joined. They practiced the demonic cultivation methods, mainly killing, darkness, curses and other demonic powers. But even though the two sacred grounds practiced different cultivation methods and had different philosophies, they were still very united and would not fight each other at this time. As for the Qinghuan sect, it was also considered a righteous sect, so its disciples generally joined the Holy Land of Taichu. Master, if you joined the Holy Land of Taichu, why did you come back? Wouldn't it be better to stay in the sacred ground and cultivate? Xiaoping asked curiously, looking at Zhu Xian. Hearing this, Zhu Xian looked embarrassed. Well, there is an elimination mechanism in the sacred ground. It is not safe to enter it. If you can't meet the requirements, you will be kicked out of the sacred ground. But it is not my fault. In fact, only 1 in 10,000 geniuses can stay in the sacred ground. Most of them can't meet the requirements of the sacred ground and are eliminated. How were they eliminated? Xiaoping wanted to know the details. Many elders had a strange look on their faces, and the corners of their mouths twitched. This bastard touched a sore spot. Wasn't he just rubbing salt on the wound of the sect leader? It was already very embarrassing to be eliminated, but this guy still wanted to ask about the details of the elimination. He was really asking for a beating. Ahem, junior brother Xia, don't ask about this kind of thing. Sometimes it is not good to get to the bottom of it. Elder Yu Xiujuan coughed to stop Xiaoping from asking in detail. Okay. Chapter 1861. Well, I've already submitted the list of candidates to enter the Holy Land of Taichu. Zhu Xian quickly changed the subject so that Xiaoping wouldn't continue to ask him about his painful past. The Holy Land of Taichu replied that they will send someone to take the assessment in a few days. I hope junior brother Xia can be prepared. Okay, I see. Xiaoping nodded. Of course, the assessment is a piece of cake for junior brother Xia. In fact, the reason why we elders are gathered here is because of an earth-shattering event that is about to happen. Zhu Xian looked at Xiaoping and finally got to the point. What is it? Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He knew that the elders couldn't have gathered here just to inform him to join the Holy Land of Taichu. If it was just to inform him, it was enough to find another time and place. There was no need for so many elders to gather here. I wonder if junior brother Xia has heard of the Heavens Creation Map? Zhu Xian asked in a deep voice. The Heavens Creation Map? The name sounds familiar. I seem to have heard it somewhere. Xiaoping's heart skipped a beat. He immediately remembered the peerless demon lord he met in the Cloud Realm. He seemed to have also mentioned the Heavens Creation Map. It's normal that you have heard of it. After all, this matter has already spread all over the universe. Zhu Xian nodded. If you don't know, I can explain it in detail. The so-called Heavens Creation Map is a life-bonded magic treasure left by an invincible saint after his death. It's extremely powerful. There are also countless magic treasures left in the Heavens Creation Map. It is said that they were all left by the Saint of Fortune. If you can enter it, you will definitely have an earth-shattering adventure. You might even have a chance to become a saint. His eyes shone with a shrewd light. Could it be that the Heavens Creation Map is about to appear? Xiaoping's heart skipped a beat. Yes, according to Dark North Saint speculation, the Heavens Creation Map will appear soon. Although I don't know the specific time, it will be in our Eastern universe within a month. Sect Master Zhu Xian clenched his fists and said, "As the saying goes, the pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first. This time, our Jianghu faction is determined to obtain the map of fortune of the heavens. We will join hands with many elders to enter it and fight for the fortune. Now that junior brother Xia has advanced to the law phase realm, he can be considered a powerful combat power. With junior brother Xia's help, we will be like tigers that have grown wings and have the upper hand in this battle." Many elders looked at Xia Ping. If it was the Xia Ping from before, although his combat strength was not bad, he was still too inexperienced in terms of high-end combat strength. However, things were different now. He had advanced to the transcendence realm and condensed the transcendence of heaven and earth. He could already be considered an almighty existence and had the strength to participate in high-end battles. After all, there were simply too many forces competing for the all-heavens creation map this time. Not only were the forces from the north, south, east, and west cosmoses here, but even the descendants of the sages from the central cosmos and the elders of the ancient families would personally participate. At that time it would definitely be a fierce battle. "Don't worry, Sect Master. When the time comes I will definitely participate. How can I miss out on such a good thing?" Xia Ping patted his chest and said casually. Since there were so many benefits inside the all-heavens creation map, he couldn't possibly miss this great opportunity. "That's good." Sect Master Zhu Xian nodded in satisfaction. Several hours later, after discussing everything, Xia Ping returned to his residence, Yanhuang Peak, from Sect Master Zhu Xian. At this moment, Nangong Wu, Qiushu, Suji, Sumei Jiangyaru, and the others seemed to have gone out to train. They had formed a small team and were completing the Heaven and Earth sect's missions everywhere. The disciples of the Heaven and Earth sect all knew of their relationship with Xia Ping, so no one dared to provoke them. Instead, there were many people who came up to flatter them. "Corinne, what's the situation in the central cosmos?" After returning, Xia Ping immediately asked Corinne about this information. "Actually, it's like this," Corinne said in a deep voice, telling him everything he knew in full detail. "I see." After that, Xia Ping nodded thoughtfully. He also learned a lot about the central cosmos from Corinne. After all, Corinne followed the saints and often entered the central cosmos, so he knew more than Sect Master Zhu Xian. The central cosmos was actually called the Myriad Races Strife Zone by the Myriad Races. It was vast and boundless, filled with countless treasures. Most of the areas were unclaimed and had never been occupied by other beings. Only a small part of the territory was occupied by the major races as a base. With the base as the center, they constantly expanded outwards to obtain treasures. The humans in the central cosmos were basically the elites of the human race. They were either members of some ancient family or direct descendants of some saints. There were as many experts as there were clouds in the sky. Of course, the Holy Land of Taichu and the Palace of Darkness were the two lofty holy lands that were governed by the saints. Even humans born in the central cosmos would face great difficulties if they wanted to join the two holy lands. However, because of their environment, these geniuses from the central cosmos were unexpectedly powerful. They were much more tyrannical than the other four universal regions. When geniuses from other universal regions entered the Holy Land of Taichu or the Palace of Darkness, most of them were defeated by the geniuses from the central cosmos and were eliminated. It was not that there were no outstanding existences, but such people were extremely rare. Interesting. The Holy Land of Taichu from the central cosmos? I really need to go and see. Xia Ping rubbed his chin. From what Corinne said, the central cosmos was a special region of the universe called the mystical zone. It was completely different from other universal regions and had countless treasures there. Many ores and spirit medicines that had long been extinct in other universal regions could be found in the central cosmos. It could be called the greatest treasure trove in the universe. Countless beings had obtained fortuitous encounters and soared to the sky to become top almighties. Because of this, the central cosmos became a place where the myriad races fought for hegemony. Whoever could occupy this land would become the true top overlord of the entire universe. In fact, there is a third holy land in the central cosmos called the Temple of All Saints. It is a superpower that truly determines the direction of the entire human race. However, it is an organization that only saints can join. There is no point in explaining the details, Corinne said in a low voice. Xia Ping nodded and entered a quiet room to cultivate in seclusion. Right now, his cultivation was advancing by leaps and bounds. He could feel himself becoming stronger and stronger every day, and his magic power was improving. Chapter 1862. On the other hand, in a hall of the Five Elements sect. At this moment there were 3 young men in white in the hall. They had an imposing appearance, and there was a trace of incomparable arrogance in the depths of their eyes, as if they were high and mighty nobles. The strength of these 3 people was not simple. They had already reached the peak of the Transcendence realm, and were only a step away from breaking through to the Thunder Retribution realm. Their auras were also several times stronger than ordinary Transcendence realm experts. The person in front of them was Xia Ping's old acquaintance Yin Shishing. He was a true disciple of the Five Elements sect, a disciple of a saint and a Transcendence realm expert. However, in front of these 3 young men in white, he was extremely humble like a pug. The reason why his attitude was so humble was not because of any other reason, but because they were all examiners from the Holy Land of Taichu, responsible for assessing whether or not they could join the Holy Land of Taichu. Their names were Feng Xingyu, Zhang Haodong, and Meng Jinshuan. The one in the lead was Feng Xingyu. He stood where he was as if he was surrounded by stars. Thousands of starlight fell, as if he had turned into a son of the stars, unfathomable. Yin Shishing, although your strength is average, you can be considered a good expert in this barbarian land. Plus, you know how to behave, so I'll let you pass this time. Feng Xingyu said. After a strict test just now, he had already decided to let Yin Shishing pass the test and allow him to enter the Holy Land of Taichu to cultivate. Thank you, Master Feng. Hearing this, Yin Shishing was overjoyed. He had worked so hard to prepare for such a long time, and even flattered and sent many precious treasures, all for the sake of entering the Holy Land of Taichu. Now, only by entering the Holy Land of Taichu and obtaining the cultivation resources of the Holy Land of the human race could his cultivation advance by leaps and bounds, and only then would he have a chance to defeat that detestable old enemy, Xia Ping. Thinking of the 2 words Xia Ping, he didn't know why, but his heart ached a little. Because after being tricked by this bastard in the heaven-reaching secret realm last time, everyone thought that he had the longevity fruit on him, and even the sect elders had their eyes on the treasures on him. If he had, perhaps he wouldn't be so sullen, but the problem was that he didn't have any. He couldn't take out any treasures, and in the end, his fellow apprentices and elders all thought that he was stingy and wouldn't take them out even if he died. Everyone became distant from him, and there was a knot in their hearts. There was even a lot of gossip about him, saying that he wasn't a brother enough, that he would take everything for himself after he got rich, and that he could only share hardships and not riches. Even if he spent a lot of effort and finally solved the misunderstanding, the relationship between the 2 parties could not be restored. After all, after experiencing such a thing, even if he was an idiot, he could not continue to be friends with these people. What infuriated him the most was that he had been treated as a thorn in the flesh by the major races of the Western cosmos, even by the Devil Dao figures. They believed that he was the murderer who had killed an important figure in their race. Those bastards couldn't do anything to Xia Ping, so they came to find trouble with him. They bullied the weak and feared the strong. There were several times when he went out to gain experience, and he almost fell into the trap of those demonic cultivators and was successfully assassinated. After a few assassination attempts, he no longer dared to leave the sect. He could only hide in the depths of the sect and cultivate silently. Otherwise, if he were to leave without sufficient strength, he would most likely be killed by the assassins. Therefore, the Holy Land of Taichu was his only chance and hope now. However, the other nominated disciples of the Five Elements sect can't pass. They are not strong enough. Joining the Holy Land of Taichu is a disgrace to us, Feng Xingyu said coldly. Feng Xingyu said coldly. This time, the Five Elements sect had nominated 5 candidates, but only Yin Shishing had passed. Of course. After all, not everyone can enter the Holy Land of Taichu. Yin Shishing sneered. He didn't care about those brothers. Anyway, it was enough for him to enter the Holy Land of Taichu. As for whether other brothers could enter or not, it had nothing to do with him. Moreover, before they had hit him when he was down and ridiculed him. He had seen through this fucking society. Well, now that the assessment is over, we have to go to the next sect, the Heaven and Earth sect. We can't delay it. Feng Xingyu and the others were about to leave the Five Elements sect. The Heaven and Earth sect? Was that guy Xia Ping also nominated? Hearing the name of the Heaven and Earth sect, Yin Shishing instinctively shivered and couldn't help but ask. Yes, the name Xia Ping is indeed on it. What? Do you know him? Are you friends for many years? Zhang Haodong asked curiously, looking at Yin Shishing. Yes, of course I know him. Even if he turns into ashes, I will still recognize him. Yin Shishing gritted his teeth. I won't bother with the pleasantries. In fact, I have a blood feud with this bastard. My childhood sweetheart, my fiancée, was snatched away by him. He even impregnated her. What? Your fiancée was snatched away and she got pregnant right in front of you? Is the relationship in the barbarian land so complicated? Feng Xingyu, Zhang Haodong, and Meng Jinxuan were a little shocked and dumbfounded. Although they had heard a lot of stories about Lao Wang next door, they had never seen it. Now they actually saw a man with a green hat on his head. The corner of Yin Shishing's mouth twitched. What was going on? Did he say that he knocked up his fiancée in front of him? That brat was a little bad, but not to this extent. Moreover, he was not so cowardly as to watch someone do something to his fiancée and remain indifferent. However, this kind of misunderstanding seemed to be very beneficial to him. He coughed and said, "That's right. That kid is so evil and inhumane. I'm not the first person to suffer from his evil schemes. God knows how many people in the Eastern universe have been tormented by him. Even the Western universe, the Northern universe, and the Southern universe have enemies of him. The evil deeds he has done are simply too numerous to list. Such a bad person, is there no one who can deal with him?" Zhang Haodong was very angry. Deal with him? Who dares to do anything to him? He is the last disciple of the Dark North Saint. Who knows how strong his background is? Yin Shishing added oil to the fire. After that guy did bad things, he still shouted at me. No matter how many bad things he did, no matter how many women he slept with, his master could handle it. We, the victims, only dared to be angry but did not dare to say anything. Even if he cuckolded me, I could only swallow my anger and pretend that nothing happened. He revealed an expression of grief and indignation. Too arrogant. He is simply too arrogant and tyrannical. In my life, I have always looked down on such good-for-nothing rich kids. They are vermin who know nothing and only know how to do bad things. Feng Xingyu, Zhang Haodong, and Meng Jinxuan could not help but clench their fists. Although they came from the Central Universe, people in the Central Universe were also divided into different levels. Even in the same family, there were direct descendants and concubines. The difference in treatment between the two was like heaven and earth. Chapter 1863. Hearing this disciple of the Holy Land of Taichu being so angry, Yin Shishing was overjoyed, thinking that this was a godsend opportunity. He immediately took the opportunity to sow dissension. Yes, I'm so angry when I think that he can enter the Holy Land of Taichu like me. Enter the Holy Land of Taichu? That's wishful thinking. I won't let such a black sheep enter the Holy Land of Taichu. Otherwise it'll be like a rat's poop spoiling a pot of soup. Feng Xingyu clenched his fists. No, we can't do that. We are the examiners of the Holy Land of Taichu, and we represent the image of the Holy Land of Taichu. We can't do such a thing, Zhang Haodong said in a low voice. Yes, if he really has the ability, then we can only let him enter the Holy Land of Taichu. Meng Jinxuan said helplessly. Don't worry, that kid has no ability at all. He's just a playboy. Yin Shishing immediately said, Can you believe it? He's not even 30 years old, but he's already condensed a primordial spirit and reached the returning nature realm. This kind of cultivation speed is frightening. I can assure you that the reason why this kid reached this level is purely by taking pills. He has no ability at all. What? He reached the returning nature realm before 30 years old? Even in the Central Universe, there aren't many people with such a speed. Hearing this, Feng Xingyu was very surprised. It's impossible for someone to cultivate so fast in this barren land. It seems that this kid probably took some kind of universal treasure, or else he wouldn't be able to cultivate so fast. Zhang Haodong and Meng Jinxuan also nodded. They thought that they were geniuses even in the Central Universe, not to mention in this barren land. No one could compare to them at all. But now there was someone who cultivated faster than them. No one would believe that he didn't reach this level by taking pills. Moreover, his promotion quota this time was obtained through the back door. He relied on his master's relationship to forcefully kick out a genius disciple of Heaven and Earth sect who has no backing but has a very bright future. That guy has no one to help him and has lost a great opportunity. Yin Shishing said with pity, If this kid enters the Holy Land of Taichu, I don't know how many opportunities he'll harm. He showed an unwilling expression and was very angry. You got a spot through the back door? Damn it. What I hate most in my life are those who go through the back door. Don't worry, Xiaoping is dead meat. You will never have a chance to enter the Holy Land of Taichu. Hearing these words, Feng Xingyu immediately became furious because he had the same experience. He had once wanted to enter a certain secret realm, but the number of people allowed was limited. Originally, with Xiao Chen's talent and strength, obtaining this spot was already in the bag. However, he had not expected that someone, a direct descendant of an ancient clan, would suddenly appear and kick him out of the competition. Feng Xingyu couldn't do anything about it. Everyone had a backer, but he didn't. If he didn't get kicked, who else could he kick? Ever since that incident, he hated all those who tried to enter through the back door. Yin Shixing was overjoyed. Seeing that the 3 examiners were so angry, it seemed that Xia Ping's entry into the Holy Land of Taichu was definitely not going to happen. The thought of this kid crying for his mom and dad when he was denied entry into the Holy Land of Taichu made him feel very happy. He felt that he had finally gotten his revenge after being tricked so many times by this kid. However, he was also very cautious. He kept a low profile and did not reveal any expression of satisfaction. A few days later, Feng Xingyu, Zhang Haodong, and Meng Jinxuan, the 3 examiners from the Holy Land of Taichu, finally left the 5 Elements sect. They boarded a spaceship and arrived at the Qingkuan sect aggressively. Sect Master Zhu Xian and the others also quickly came forward to greet them. Although the 3 examiners' cultivation was not as high as theirs, they were cultivators representing the Holy Land of Taichu after all, so they could not be rude. Well, no need to say more. Let the 5 candidates of the Qingkuan sect come out. Feng Xingyu was expressionless and waved his hand in a completely businesslike manner. Zhang Haodong and Meng Jinxuan didn't seem to be polite at all. Many elders of the Qingkuan sect were stunned. They instinctively felt that the 3 examiners seemed to be a little unfriendly, and their attitude was not very good. Of course. Sect Master Zhu Xian nodded and immediately let Xia Ping and the 5 candidates of the Qingkuan sect into the main hall. You are Xia Ping? When Xia Ping arrived, Feng Xingyu and the others stared at Xia Ping with unfriendly looks on their faces. They looked him up and down as if they were trying to see through him. That's right, I will not change my name or my surname. What do you think? Xia Ping could also hear that the 3 people's tone was not very friendly, as if they were here to pick a fight. In this situation he naturally would not be polite. How is this possible? The Transcendence Realm, you actually condensed the transcendence of heaven and earth. Didn't the information say that you are only at the returning nature realm? Zhang Haodong seemed to have seen through Xia Ping's cultivation and could not hide his inner shock. He was clearly a cultivator at the returning nature realm not long ago, but in such a short time he actually broke through to the transcendence realm and successfully condensed the transcendence of heaven and earth. It was too incredible. He remembered that it took at least hundreds of years for him to advance from the returning nature realm to the transcendence realm, and this was considered a fast cultivation speed, so he was called a genius. But what was going on with this kid? How could he progress so fast? How many pills did he take to advance to this level? Were those universe-level rare elixirs free? Zhang Haodong, Meng Jinxuan, and Feng Xingyu were so jealous that their intestines turned green. In their opinion, it must be the power behind Xia Ping. In order to improve Xia Ping's cultivation, they did not hesitate to give him spirit medicines and medicinal pills, which was why he could improve so quickly. They could not imagine how many elixirs had been used to raise this kid's cultivation to this level. It must have been an astronomical number, enough to make many small families go bankrupt. When they thought about this kid's extravagant consumption of medicinal pills and spirit medicines, throwing away one after another, they immediately felt unbalanced. They came from the central cosmos, yet they were treated worse than this country bumpkin. The heavens were truly unfair. I just broke through not long ago. What's wrong? Are you guys not satisfied with my breakthrough? Xia Ping glanced at them. Kid, don't be too arrogant. So what if you improve quickly? It's all because of elixirs. Taking elixirs is not true ability. Seeing Xia Ping's attitude, Feng Xingyu was angry. That's right. This kind of elixir cultivation is already outdated. It will create a strong resistance. Reaching the Thunder Calamity realm is already the limit. It is impossible to break through to the Saint realm. Zhang Haodong and Meng Jinxuan sneered. It's none of your business. I just like to take elixirs to cultivate. Bite me if you don't like it. A bunch of poor people want to teach the rich a lesson? Have you measured yourselves? Do you have money on you? Can you afford a girlfriend? Do you have your own independent cave? Xia Ping said with disdain. Fuck this bastard. Chapter 1864. Cut the crap. Feng Xingyu's face was gloomy. Don't you want to pass the entrance assessment of the Holy Land of Taichu? The assessment is very simple. You just have to fight with me. If you win, you can enter the Holy Land of Taichu. What? Hearing this, many elders of the Qingkuan sect were shocked because such an assessment was too much. After all, disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu were more powerful than ordinary cultivators. Even among cultivators of the same level, they were overwhelmingly powerful, which was obvious to all. Usually, the examiners only needed to assess the candidates and recognize their potential and strength. They didn't need to defeat the examiners at all. But now the other party made such a request, which was obviously to make things difficult for them. Just when they were about to object, Xiaoping touched his chin and said, "I just have to defeat you? Why is the assessment so simple? Do you want the 3 examiners to fight me together?" "What did you say?" Zhang Haodong, Meng Jinshuan, and Feng Xingyu all stared at Xiaoping with their eyes wide open. They never thought that Xiaoping would dare to make such a request. It was impossible to defeat one of them, but this kid wanted to fight all 3 of them. He was simply crazy. Was he really an idiot? Zhu Xian and the others were also stunned. They had never seen anyone make such a request and increase the difficulty of their assessment. "Don't you understand human language? I'll let the 3 of you fight me together to save time," Xiaoping said simply and straightforwardly. "Fuck, you wanna die? Then I'll fulfill your wish." Zhang Haodong was furious. He had never heard anyone make such a request. Such a request was clearly looking down on them, the geniuses from the Holy Land of Taichu. What a contemptuous request. "Since this is your request, I hope you won't regret it. If you can't enter the Holy Land of Taichu, just say that the examiners are deliberately making things difficult for you." Feng Xingyu's face was very gloomy. He also felt that he was completely underestimated by this guy. It was already extremely difficult to defeat him alone, and now he wanted to challenge all 3 of them. If they didn't completely crush this kid's arrogance, others would look down on them, the geniuses from the Holy Land of Taichu. This brat is simply seeking his own death. He's just a weakling who can't even defeat Yin Shishing, yet he wants to provoke the 3 of us. We must teach him a lesson and let him know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. Meng Jinshuan clenched his fists, his expression ferocious. He had already heard from Yin Shishing that this Xiaoping was actually a fake. He had relied on the back door to get the nomination, and his strength was not that great. Not too long ago, Yin Shishing was also able to beat Xiaoping like a dog. If it wasn't for the identity behind this brat, he would have long since crippled this guy. How could this Xiaoping still be alive and kicking today? How could a trash like him dare to openly provoke the 3 of them? He really didn't know how to write the word death. They must let this good-for-nothing have a taste of true terror. Yin Shishing? Xiaoping's ears were very sharp and he heard these 3 words. You also know that fake Yin Shishing. Did he also participate in the assessment and plan to join the Holy Land of Taichu? He instinctively felt that the 3 examiners' bad attitude must have a lot to do with Yin Shishing. Shut up. Fellow cultivator Yin Shishing is also someone you despise. He's quite strong and has already passed the test. He will enter the Holy Land of Taichu in a few days, but you won't have the chance. With me, a fair and impartial examiner here, no fake cultivator can pass the test. Feng Xingyu sneered and stared at Xiaoping with disdain. Make your move. Since you want to challenge the 3 of us, we can let you make 3 moves first. Let's see how far you can go. Zhang Haodong stood with his hands behind his back, his attitude arrogant. Don't say that we didn't give you a chance to make your move. Just use your so-called martial arts skills, and we will show you the power of the Holy Land of Taichu. Meng Jinshuan was also extremely arrogant. He thought that since he came from the highest level of the Holy Land of the human clan, everything he learned was top-notch, and he was also a top genius in the universe. No matter what this barbarian playboy did, he would not be able to hurt the 3 of them. 3 moves first? What a joke. They were not afraid even if they let him make 30 moves first. Well, since you want to let me make 3 moves first, then I will respectfully accept. Xiaoping did not hesitate. He moved his mind. Boom, in an instant, a horrible hot power gushed out of Xiaoping's body, quickly forming a Dharma form. It was a divine bird, the golden crow of hell. It was dark gold in color, and its whole body was condensed by dark golden flames. Standing in the void with 3 feet, its body was densely covered with golden crow runes and hell runes. Its whole body exuded an ancient, chaotic, primitive yin and yang aura, as if it were a supreme divine beast that had emerged from chaos, invincible. Fuck. Feng Xingyu, Meng Jinshuan, and Zhang Haodong could not help but curse, inexplicably shocked. The instant this Dharma form appeared, it produced a terrifying heat wave that swept out in all directions, condensing into a material form. A terrifying chi wall appeared, sweeping through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The 3 of them were like rubber balls that were sent flying. Oh my god, what a powerful Dharma form. Retreat, retreat quickly. Disciples whose cultivation levels are not at the transcendence realm, immediately retreat 3,000 miles, or you will die for sure. Activate the Great Formation, turn this hall into a temporary arena, and protect the surroundings. Sect leader Zhu Xian and the others were scared half to death, feeling this unprecedented terrifying aura. It was as if under such pressure ordinary transcendence realm cultivators would be seriously injured. The Jianghu sect disciples whose cultivation levels were insufficient all ran out of the hall without a care for their lives. Some elders couldn't dodge in time and were directly sent flying for hundreds of miles, coughing out blood in midair. Kacha, kacha, kacha sounds could be heard from the entire ground. Shocking cracks appeared on the ground. The palace was also covered in dense restrictive formations, but it was of no use. It seemed to have been shattered and was on the verge of collapse. At the same time, terrifying flames appeared on this Dharma form's body. It was like a blazing sun in the sky, burning through the ages. It released a brilliant light, directly tearing through the sky and rushing out of Jianghu's star. Even though they were thousands of miles away, the many Jianghu sect disciples could feel this Dharma form giving off dense pure yang energy. It was like a blazing sun, burning all kinds of yin and cold energy would be burned and refined. Many rocks on the ground were also rapidly burned and melted, turning into magma that flowed on the cracks in the ground. It seemed to have formed a river of magma that flowed wantonly in all directions. Chapter 1865. Junior Brother Xia, what kind of Dharma form is this? The pure yang qi on his body is so strong. It's like an extraordinary fire that can burn everything. An elder of the Jianghu sect was shocked. He stared at the Dharma form surging out of Xia Ping's body. He had seen countless Transcendence Realm masters, but he had never seen such a powerful Dharma form. It was as if this Dharma form could sweep the world and be invincible. I don't know. It is said that Junior Brother Xia has cultivated a pure yang cultivation method, which is extremely powerful. It is not a unique skill of the Jianghu sect, but he obtained it from some ruins. It seems that this cultivation method is not to be underestimated. Zhu Xian, the sect leader, was also shocked. Even an ordinary Transcendence Realm master could not have such an aura. His strength was far beyond that of an ordinary Transcendence Realm master. I originally thought that Junior Brother Xia's foundation might be a little weak, since he progressed so fast. But now it seems that I was thinking too much. Such a Dharma form is not a solid foundation. It's overflowing. So powerful. Many elders of the Jianghu sect could not help but swallow. They could feel the strong aura from Xia Ping. They estimated that even if they were to fight against him, they would not be a match for Xia Ping. Just the appearance of this Dharma form was enough to burn them all to death. They could not even get close to Xia Ping. It's over. We've been fooled. We've been fooled by Yin Shishing. How can he be so strong? Feng Xingyu, Meng Jinxuan, and Zhang Haodong's faces immediately darkened. Once an expert made a move, one would be able to tell whether or not they were real. If Xia Ping really was a fake who relied on pills to advance, how could his foundation be so solid and his Dharma idol so strong? The so-called Dharma form was a terrible Dharma form formed by the combination of the cultivator's primordial spirit and Dharma power. It represented the essence of the cultivator. Therefore, the moment Xia Ping's Dharma form appeared, they immediately knew that the person in front of them was absolutely a peerless genius. Even in the Holy Land of Taichu, he was definitely one of the best. Whether this kid is fake or not, we have no way to back down now. We must teach this kid a lesson. Otherwise, no one will respect us disciples from the Holy Land of Taichu anymore. We can't lose. Feng Xingyu's expression was ferocious. Yi Fuqian formed a seal with both of his hands and a powerful mana immediately rushed out from the depths of his sea of consciousness, instantly forming a Dharma idol of heaven and earth. It was 100-meter-tall giant clad in armor and holding a spear in his hand. His body was surrounded by a dense power of stars, shaking the surrounding void space. Endless starlight descended from the depths of the void space. At this moment, it was as if the entire sky had darkened. The heavens shook and the earth trembled. Countless stars twinkled in the sky, forming a boundless starry sky that was extremely resplendent. Stellar Dharma idol. The Jianghu sect's elders in the surroundings were all astonished. This was the famous astral Dharma idol. Moreover, Feng Xingyu seemed to have condensed the astral physique as well. His body contained boundless astral energy. It could only be said that they were worthy of being disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu. Any random disciple of the Holy Land of Taichu could cultivate the famous star body. Once this body was formed, the stars would dance, containing the supreme power of starlight. Kill? Feng Xingyu shouted angrily. The stellar Dharma idol behind him moved. Holding a spear in its hand, it instantly rushed toward Xia Ping. Layers of spear shadows appeared, and each of them blasted out thousands of starlights. These starlights were extremely terrifying. They were like peerless sword radiance, tearing the void space apart. As long as one was hit by them, his entire body would be pierced, then frozen and corroded by the astral energy. At this moment, thousands of starlights blasted over, covering thousands of kilometers. It was simply unavoidable. Many Qinghuan sect's elders could feel the terrible murderous intent contained in each starlight. Wisps after wisps, it was as if the stars were angry with earth-shattering power. How dare you use the stellar Dharma idol in front of me? You're showing off in front of an expert. A glimmer of light flashed in Xia Ping's eyes. The hell-golden raven Dharma idol behind him moved. Without anyone seeing how it moved, it stood on 3 legs on the ground and slapped out a dark golden claw. This claw seemed to have grabbed all the energy of heaven and earth within a radius of thousands of kilometers. The entire space collapsed as boundless energy gathered in the depths of the huge claw, emitting a violent aura. At the same time, the dark golden claw flashed with countless hell-golden raven runes, transforming into pieces of supreme scriptures that suppressed the void space, containing a terrifying power. Boom. In an instant, the thousands of starlights were instantly destroyed by this claw. Each and every constellation in the sky was invaded by the deviant flames, instantly burning up. The starry sky was burned full of holes, as if it had turned into many volcanoes that kept spewing lava. The temperature kept rising, turning this place into a world of flames. Impossible. Feng Xingyu screamed. He simply didn't dare to believe this. His peak attack was condensed with the supreme stellar Dharma idol, gathering the power of thousands of stars. By right it should be invincible. Yet, with just a single swipe of his claw, the other party was able to easily tear through his starlight phenomenon and destroy his starlight phenomenon as easily as crushing dry weeds. He could only feel an unparalleled and terrifying force crushing down on him, ruthlessly slapping his body. In the next second his entire body flew out like a rubber ball, smashing into a mountain on Qinghuan planet thousands of miles away, creating a huge crater. This mountain was the residence of an elder, and there were many restrictive matrices set up on it, making it extremely sturdy. Ordinary power wouldn't be able to shake it. Otherwise, who knew how far he would have flown? With a few cracking sounds, Feng Xingyu felt all the bones in his body shatter. It was as if he had been smashed by a planet or crushed by an excavator countless times. His blood spurted out of his mouth like it was free, flowing all over the ground. He felt as if he was recalling his short life in this second, playing back and forth, as if he had walked back and forth from hell to the underworld. Bastard, how dare you treat senior brother Feng like this? I'll fight you. Seeing this, Zhang Haodong was enraged, unable to contain his anger. Endless anger gushed out from his body. Whooshed, his heaven and earth Dharma idol was actually a blue sea. This sea was boundless and terrifying. Water surged. It was as if a world of water was slowly rising, drowning everything. At this moment, Zhang Haodong was like a god who ruled over the sea. He held a trident in his hand, and his body was covered in dense sea runes. Countless waves surged around him. The true essence of water, the catastrophe of the end of the world, destroy him. Zhang Haodong shouted. He put his hands together and used all his strength to activate his ocean Dharma idol. Rumble. Chapter 1866. It's actually an oceanic aspect. The amount of essence chi needed to condense such an aspect is incalculable. What's more, this isn't ordinary seawater. It's the heavenly water of heaven and earth that was plundered from the depths of the water dimension. Ianwood water. It possesses the terrifying power of heavenly water. Ordinary cultivators will drown if they enter it. Not only does this water have the power of drowning, but it also contains the power of Ian. If a cultivator falls into it, their organs would be invaded by the coldness and their magic power would be frozen. Seems like junior brother Xia is in danger. This Ianwood water can probably counter ordinary fire. Many Qinghuan sect elders discussed. They could tell that Zhang Haodong's strength wasn't ordinary. He was a top-notch expert who cultivated water magic power. He was the nemesis of cultivators who cultivated the power of fire. Now that Xia Ping encountered Zhang Haodong, he had undoubtedly met his nemesis. It was like a mouse meeting a cat. "Senior brother Zhang, let me help you." But the danger wasn't over yet. At this moment, Meng Jinshuan also attacked. In order to completely defeat Xia Ping, he chose to join forces with Xia Ping, not giving him any chance. Rumble, a powerful magic power rose from his body. A heaven and earth aspect rapidly condensed. Everyone looked over and were incomparably shocked. It was actually a golden longsword. This golden longsword emitted a dense aura of metal. It was a crystallization of metal-type essence chi. It was as though if one got close to it, they would be corroded by the metal elements and turn into metal. At the same time, the depths of this longsword seemed to contain a powerful sword intent. It was indestructible. With a slight movement, the entire sky was split apart by this sword intent. Kill. Sword Dao Divine Ability, 10,000 swords returned to origin. Meng Jinshuan flew up. The golden long sword behind him trembled. In an instant, it actually transformed into thousands of golden flying swords that trembled and buzzed. Thousands of golden flying swords gathered together freely, forming a supreme sword formation. Boundless sword chi brewed in the depths of the formation, unceasingly slicing through space. Every sword chi seemed to have the power to tear apart stars. They were incomparably powerful. The surrounding Qinghuan sect elders all felt as though there was a blade on their backs. Just by looking at these golden flying swords, they felt as though their primordial spirits were being pierced by the dense aura of metal. They couldn't help but take a few steps back, afraid that they would be pierced by these swords and die. Dong. With a thought, tens of thousands of golden flying swords instantly flew out, blotting out the sky and earth as they bombarded towards Xia Ping, leaving him nowhere to escape. Two masters at the peak of the Dharma stage attacked at the same time. This kind of power was earth-shattering. Both sides attacked at the same time, not giving Xia Ping any chance to escape. It was extremely powerful. Sect leader, should we stop this battle? If this continues, junior brother Xia will be in danger. There were elders who suggested stopping the battle. They had this ability as well. After all, this was the source of heaven and earth sect. There were powerful formations everywhere. As long as the great formations were activated, they could immediately end the battle. There's no rush. Junior brother Xia is not someone to be trifled with. Let's wait and see. Sect Master Zhu Xian looked at Xia Ping and found that Xia Ping did not panic at all. Instead, he was extremely calm, as if he was a grandmaster looking at a few hotheads challenging him. He did not put this force in his eyes at all. If Xia Ping wasn't pretending to be calm, then it meant that Xia Ping's strength was beyond everyone's imagination and unfathomable. He was not in a hurry. After all, if Xia Ping was in danger, he could step in at any time to stop the battle. Not bad, Dharma power of heaven and earth. Among all the masters in the Dharma realm, you are considered one of the strongest. However, if you want to fight with me, you'd better go back to the holy land of Taichu and train for a few thousand years. At this moment, Xia Ping made his move. The Dharma power behind him moved. Originally, this three-legged golden raven of hell was standing in the void with its eyes closed as if in a state of sleep. However, at this moment, it actually opened its eyes and woke up in an instant. As soon as it opened its eyes, all the cultivators in the entire Qinghuan star felt a terrifying aura emanating from the golden raven of hell, spreading to every corner of the Qinghuan star. All the disciples in the Qinghuan star trembled as if they had met their natural enemy. There was a kind of fear that came from the depths of their blood and souls. The weaker disciples were so scared that they fainted, foaming at the mouth. The ground within a radius of several thousand kilometers was unable to withstand such pressure. Kacha-kacha sounds rang out as terrifying cracks appeared. It was as if the ground was being torn into 8 or 10 pieces. Rumble, the golden raven of hell, had two eyes. One was the golden raven's eye, which contained the essence of a star. The other was the eye of hell, which contained the power of hell. When the two eyes opened, the power that erupted was simply earth-shattering. Swish, swish. In an instant, two beams of light shot out from the two eyes. One was a golden light, emitting a strong pure yang qi and the power of flames. This was the power of the sun that was condensed to the extreme, like the light of the moment when a star exploded. The other was a black light. This kind of pitch-black power was extremely deep, deeper than the darkness from the abyss, as if it was the sin of hell that could never be erased. Oh no! Zhang Haodong felt this tyrannical power, as if there was a crisis of death in his body. His hair stood on end as if he had encountered the greatest crisis of his life. He wanted to block and dodge, but he couldn't do anything because the speed of the golden light was too fast. It had surpassed the speed of his divine sense. Dong. The beam of golden light shot out by the golden crow's eye easily pierced through the vast sea, as if the sea had been split into two halves by a sharp sword. At the same time, this golden light burned with the power of the strange fire, instantly evaporating the sea. The sea was overturned and the water was evaporated into steam. Oh my God! Zhu Xian and the others couldn't help but widen their eyes. They were extremely surprised because this was the Yianwood water, one of the most powerful strange waters in the world. The water spread everywhere, and it was so terrifying that even the Samadhi true fire could resist it. But now it couldn't resist it and was burned by this flame. In an instant the entire sea was evaporated. It was like a sun had fallen into the sea, and all the water had been burned to nothing. Immediately Zhang Haodong let out a shrill scream. After suffering such a serious injury, his whole body was blasted away like a ball. Bang! In the next second he fiercely crashed into a spatial enchantment, as if he had hit a hard wall. Immediately his lungs were injured and he spat out a mouthful of blood. But this was only a superficial injury. Most importantly, his dharma of heaven and earth had been broken, and it was like his primordial spirit had been seriously injured. He was in so much pain that he kept rolling on the ground, as if thousands of ants were biting his little brother. Chapter 1867. 10,000 Swords as One World of Swords. Seeing Zhang Haodong's miserable state, Meng Jinshuan had a better understanding of the power of this beam of light. His hair stood on end, knowing that he had encountered the greatest crisis of his life. He repeatedly performed peerless sword moves. Wave after wave of sword chi blasted toward him, interweaving into a huge space sword formation, covering the world from top to bottom. This was simply a world of swords. With such a sword move he could even occupy a place in the holy land of Taichu. Dong. In the blink of an eye the beam of black light shot toward him. There was no suspense, not even a sound. This sword formation, this world of swords, was immediately torn apart. Almost in an instant, this beam of light completely tore apart thousands of golden flying swords, crushed them into powder, and decomposed them into the most primitive chi of the world. Annihilated, in an instant this sword formation was annihilated. This was a destructive power. This? Many elders of the Qingkuan sect were dumbfounded. One strike, just one strike, and this incomparably mighty world of swords completely disappeared, instantly annihilated as if it had never existed. The moment this world of swords appeared, they all felt that it was extremely difficult to deal with. It was a peerless sword formation that was both offensive and defensive, and there was almost no blind spot. But now it was different. It seemed that Xia Ping did not consider attacking the blind spots at all. He directly crushed it with his strength, and in an instant this world of swords collapsed, turned into powder and evaporated. Impossible. Meng Jinshuan could not help but scream. Just one strike had destroyed all his hopes and forced him into a desperate situation. It was as if he was still a baby in swaddling clothes, extremely fragile. He had never been so desperate in his life. But the next second he could no longer scream because this beam of black light came to kill him. Immediately he sensed an endless darkness, which enveloped everything, not even a trace of sunlight could escape. It was like the sin in the deepest part of hell, so thick that it could not be dissolved. At the same time, there was also a bone-piercing coldness wrapped around his body. This was not as simple as just the coldness of his body. Even his primordial spirit seemed to be frozen at this moment, as if it had fallen into the deepest part of hell. Bang! Meng Jinshuan was blasted away, flying for hundreds of kilometers, and finally smashed into the boundary. He suffered internal injuries on the spot and coughed up blood. He looked at Xia Ping in front of him in horror. If Xia Ping did not show mercy just now, he was afraid that he would really have fallen into the depths of hell, never to come back. What kind of power was this? Even though he knew many peerless cultivation methods from the holy land of Taichu, he still felt a deep sense of despair in the face of such power. He was powerless to resist. He won, Junior Brother Xia really won. Too powerful. What kind of Dharma idol did Junior Xia condense? How can it be so powerful? I can only say that he is indeed the last disciple of Dark North Saint. His combat power is beyond imagination. Even the disciples of the holy land of Taichu are no match for him. Previously I was worried that Junior Brother Xia would be defeated. Now it seems that my worries were groundless. Elders of Xia said. Xia Qian was. Xia 1000 QS. Xia was. World, Ping. Many the sect elders and sect. Zhu Xian, the sect master, was also shocked. Examiners, how about now? Can I pass the test of the Holy Land of Taichu? Xia Ping looked down at Meng Jinxuan, Feng Xingyu, and Zhang Haodong. His expression was very indifferent, as if defeating 3 disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu was not a big deal at all. He did not make any sarcastic remarks, but his silence made Meng Jinxuan, Feng Xingyu, and Zhang Haodong feel ashamed and resentful. Before, they swore that they could defeat this guy from the barbarian land alone. But who would have thought that even with the 3 of them joining hands, they would still be defeated so easily? The difference wasn't as simple as 1 or 2 points. This was simply the difference between heaven and earth, and couldn't be measured with a single mile. If I can't pass, I can continue to accompany you. Xia Ping continued. No need. We have seen your strength. You are fully qualified to enter the Holy Land of Taichu. Hearing this, Meng Jinxuan, Feng Xingyu, and Zhang Haodong hurriedly said. They were afraid that they would lose their lives if they continued to fight. How could they be a match for this guy now? Even if they were at their peak, they were easily defeated just now, let alone seriously injured. They had never experienced such a feeling of powerlessness. It was too terrible. That's good. If there's nothing else, I'll leave. You guys help yourselves. After saying this, Xia Ping turned around and left. He was not interested in staying here any longer. Seeing Xia Ping leave, Meng Jinxuan, Feng Xingyu, and Zhang Haodong suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that this guy was not as bad as the rumors said. He did not pursue them relentlessly. Damn Yin Shishing, we were all fooled by this bastard. That guy actually said that Xia Ping was a fake and that he only reached this realm by taking pills. What kind of people can have this kind of strength after taking pills? Feng Xingyu gritted his teeth. He immediately became extremely angry with Yin Shishing. If it weren't for this guy sowing discord, they would not have done such a reckless thing. He said before that he easily defeated Xia Ping, but now it seems that it was just bullshit. With such strength, it is impossible for Yin Shishing to defeat a person with such strength. Meng Jinxuan gritted his teeth. Yin Shishing must have a grudge against Xia Ping, so he sowed discord and instigated us to deal with Xia Ping. Zhang Haodong clenched his fists. This matter must not end like this. We must seek justice from Yin Shishing. Feng Xingyu said angrily. Send a message to him and see what Yin Shishing has to say. Meng Jinxuan immediately said. In order to facilitate communication, they had exchanged numbers with Yin Shishing before. Soon he sent a message. Yin Shishing, this is Meng Jinxuan. I just did as you said and fought with Xia Ping. If you still have a little conscience, bring some healing pills and 10,000-year-old elixirs to Jianghu sect to see me. But after a while there was still no reply. He was unwilling to give up and sent another message. Damn, this bastard has already blacklisted me. Meng Jinxuan cursed. He realized that his message couldn't be sent to Yin Shishing's number. It showed that he was no longer a friend. It was obvious that he had been blacklisted. Chapter 1868. On the other hand, inside the Five Elements sect. At this moment, Yin Shishing also received the news and the message sent by Meng Jinxuan. He knew that the 3 disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu had been brutally defeated by Xia Ping. What the fuck? He even brought some healing elixirs. If he really went, wouldn't he be walking into a tiger's mouth? Do you think I'm stupid? Yin Shishing's face turned green. He deftly blocked Meng Jinxuan and the others. He knew that he had tricked Meng Jinxuan and the others. God knows how much the other party wanted to eat him alive. If he really went to visit them, he would definitely be beaten up so badly that even his own mother wouldn't recognize him. He didn't feel sorry for such a fake brotherhood, so he didn't hesitate to abandon the 3 disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu. Fuck, even the 3 disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu are no match for Xia Ping. This bastard is getting more and more powerful. Will I still have a chance to take revenge in the future? Yin Shishing clenched his fists, very unwilling. He really didn't know how to deal with Xia Ping. Then he gritted his teeth and said, No, I can't stay in the 5 Elements sect for the time being. I have to slip away and go to the Central Universe immediately. Otherwise, if I'm targeted by those 3 disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu, I'll lose a layer of skin even if I don't die. He decided to slip away immediately and hide. He absolutely couldn't be found by Meng Jinxuan and the others. Otherwise, he would definitely be tortured by these disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu. On the dark north peak of the Jianghu sect. At this time, there were 3 saints gathered in the depths of the hall. They were the Dark North Saint, the Scorching Sun Saint, and the Snow Ocean Saint. They were the true pillars of the Jianghu sect. They also saw the scene of the battle between Xia Ping and the 3 disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu. "Ah, my 2 friends, how is my disciple's strength? Is he good enough for you?" The Dark North Saint laughed, very proud. "He's not just good enough. He obviously hasn't entered the Holy Land of Taichu, but he's already so powerful. Even the disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu are no match for him. His combat power is not to be underestimated. Even I didn't have such combat power when I was young." The Scorching Sun Saint sighed. "You actually recruited such a genius disciple. Dark North, you're really lucky. I don't know how much luck you've spent." He was very jealous. Furthermore, that disciple didn't seem to have fully displayed his strength. It was just the tip of the iceberg. I could sense that his body contained a vast amount of magic power, comparable to a Thunder Retribution cultivator. "It seems that your disciple has quite a lot of secrets." Snow Ocean Sage narrowed his eyes, as though he had seen through some of Xia Ping's secrets. Who doesn't have fortuitous encounters and secrets to become an expert? The Dark North Saint smiled and did not think much of it. "The Myriad Heavens fortune diagram is about to open. I'm sure your disciple will enter as well. Who knows how many waves will be stirred up then?" The Burning Sun Saint said, "Moreover, every time it opens, the entire universe will experience a bloodbath. Even many geniuses from the central cosmos will come, and even the various races will fight over it. Aren't you afraid that your disciple will perish inside?" When he was young, he had also entered the Myriad Heavens creation map and obtained some fortuitous encounters from it. That was how he was able to advance by leaps and bounds and ascend to the Saint Realm. Thus, he knew how attractive and dangerous the Myriad Heavens creation map was to many geniuses. Even some old monsters who were nearing the end of their lifespans would become even crazier and risk everything. At that time, it would definitely cause an earth-shattering massacre and countless casualties. He also has his own destiny. The road to becoming a saint is destined to be bumpy. Even if there is no danger in the Myriad Heavens creation map this time, the next time he enters the secret land may not be the same. If he dies this time, it means that this is his destiny and no one can stop it. The Dark North Saint said lightly, "But I am very confident in this disciple. He is not the kind of person who will die in the Myriad Heavens creation map because of this kind of thing." "Ah, then I'll wait and see. Maybe in the future we will have another companion." The Burning Sun Saint laughed. The news that Xia Ping defeated the 3 examiners from the Holy Land of Taichu also flew out as if it had grown wings. It almost spread to all the forces in the Eastern Cosmos, and even the Southern Cosmos, the Northern Cosmos, and the Western Cosmos had heard about it. After all, last time in the heaven-accessing secret land, Xia Ping became an influential figure and was always under the attention of those who wanted to know. Now that such a thing had happened, all the major forces immediately inquired about the specific information. What? Xia Ping from the Jianghu sect actually defeated the 3 examiners from the Holy Land of Taichu with his own hands, and it was 1 against 3? Are you kidding me? Xia Ping was only at the Restoring Nature realm before and had just condensed his spirit. How could he have such strength? This information is already out of date. Xia Ping from the Jianghu sect has condensed the law of heaven and earth and advanced to the Transcendence realm. My God, how long has it been? He actually advanced to the Transcendence realm. Even if he took pills, it would not be so fast. It's not that I have never seen a disciple of a sage, but I have never seen such a monstrous genius. Not only did he advance to the Transcendence realm, but he even defeated the disciples from the Holy Land of Taichu, 1 against 3. This is very unusual. It is said that he has not been to the Holy Land of Taichu and the Palace of Darkness. It's incredible. How on earth did he cultivate? How did he have such combat strength? Humph, I want to see what kind of superhuman Xia Ping has and see who is the real genius of the human clan. Everyone was talking about it. They could not understand this matter, which was simply beyond their imagination. The fact that he defeated the disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu alone was enough to shock the universe, not to mention that his cultivation speed was so fast. This was enough to shock countless cultivators. However, there were also some geniuses of the human clan who were not convinced. They thought that they were above Xia Ping and immediately became hostile to him. They wanted to find an opportunity to compete with Xia Ping and see who was the real genius of the human clan. Adventure, this kid must have had an earth-shattering adventure, otherwise it is impossible to have such cultivation speed and strength. If we can kill this guy, maybe we can get some secrets from him. It's hard to do. This kid has the support of the Dark North Saint. It's not that there is no chance. This time, the fortune map of all heavens is about to appear. If this kid dares to enter it, we may find a chance to kill him and get all the treasures on him. Count me in. This human is too monstrous. We must eradicate him as soon as possible. Otherwise he will be a big threat to our other races. We can't let another invincible sage appear in the human clan. The powerful figures of many races were talking about it. They were also shocked by this matter, but they also had a deep killing intent in their hearts. They were afraid of the genius of the human clan, Xia Ping, and wanted to kill him as soon as possible. Chapter 1869. On a primitive planet in the Eastern Universe. This planet had been occupied by many disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu and became their temporary base. They had also heard about what had happened inside the Qingquan sect. What? Feng Xingyu, Zhang Haodong, and Meng Jinshuan were defeated by a disciple from a barbarian land? Are you kidding me? Did that barbarian plot against them? No matter how talented he is, how can he be a match for the disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu? Are you kidding me? Are you trying to make us laugh? No, it was a fair duel, 1 against 3, but Feng Xingyu, Zhang Haodong, and Meng Jinshuan were no match for Xia Ping at all. You're not even a match for 3 of them? Did the 3 of them grow up on drugs? They're just trash. How could they be the examiners? They're a disgrace to the Holy Land of Taichu. Many disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu were extremely angry. They felt humiliated. I told you that the outer sect disciples are unreliable. They're all half-baked and unskilled. Letting them roam the world is a disgrace to the Holy Land of Taichu. Now, those 3 have become the laughingstock of the Eastern Universe. I'm afraid that when our disciples come out in the future, they'll look down on us. Someone cursed loudly. Especially the Palace of Darkness. They're doing everything they can to laugh at us. If they find out about this, they'll laugh at us for a long time. Damn it, we must punish Feng Xingyu, Zhang Haodong, and Meng Jinshuan severely. Let them cultivate in seclusion for thousands of years and reflect on their mistakes. Who's that Xia Ping? Why haven't I heard of him? He defeated Feng Xingyu, Zhang Haodong, and Meng Jinshuan. He's qualified to enter the Holy Land of Taichu. I don't know. He's just a nobody. That bastard brought shame to our Holy Land of Taichu. If there's a chance in the future, we must teach him a good lesson and let him know what we're capable of. It won't take that long. This time, the fortune map of heavens is about to open. He'll definitely enter it to look for opportunities. We'll have a chance to meet him then. Interesting. At that time, I would like to see how powerful Xia Ping is to be able to defeat the disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu. Although they are all outer disciples, they are not ordinary barbarians. Many disciples of the Holy Land of Taichu had a cold look in their eyes. Because of what happened this time, Xia Ping had offended them. All of them wanted to find an opportunity to teach Xia Ping a lesson. A few days later, Xia Ping stayed at Yanhuang Peak to cultivate peacefully, waiting for the opening of the fortune map of the heavens. He didn't go anywhere else, only consolidating his cultivation base. He could feel that he was in a period where his cultivation was advancing by leaps and bounds. Even if he didn't take any elixirs or have any fortuitous encounters, his daily cultivation speed was still extremely shocking. The mana in his body was rising steadily. This was what it meant to be well prepared. His foundation was so strong that it was far beyond the imagination of ordinary cultivators. He didn't know what was happening in the outside world and he couldn't be bothered to care. At this time, Yanhuang Star and the space of the mountain river Pearl also underwent earth-shaking changes. The first was Yanhuang Star, which had been surrounded by a Skynet system. Although Yanhuang Star was in a forbidden area surrounded by space storms and no one could come in, it was better to be safe than sorry. In order to avoid an alien invasion like last time, Xia Ping decided to set up the Skynet system on Yanhuang Star. As long as the Skynet system was there, even if he encountered an enemy like last time, it could be easily dealt with. Therefore, Yanhuang Star had also undergone great changes, becoming the base camp and logistics base of the people of Yanhuang Star. They began to develop countless primitive planets nearby, and a large number of resources were collected. Then came the changes in the space of the mountain river Pearl. Because of the continuous efforts of hundreds of black hole worms, the space of the mountain river Pearl was expanding all the time. The land area was expanding little by little, as if the world was expanding. The green ox didn't hesitate and quickly kept up with the development of the space of the mountain river Pearl. He opened up pieces of spiritual fields and planted a large number of crystal fragrant rice, golden corn and other spiritual grains. At the same time, A large number of spiritual medicine seeds obtained from the demon realm were also planted and expanded into spiritual medicine farmland. Because of the huge number of materials obtained from the demon realm, which were very suitable for the arrangement of formations, the Green Ox also set up one restrictive formation after another to assist and accelerate the growth of the spiritual medicine. In addition, it also built many places for alchemy and weapon refining, turning them into palaces. At this moment, the space of the Mountain River Pearl was built into a more and more complete world. However, the Mountain River Pearl still lacks manpower. After all, such a huge world and vast farmland, even with the help of robots, it still needs manpower to manage it. Fortunately, it obtained a lot of slave girls before, which can be regarded as reducing a lot of burden for the Green Ox. At this time, these slave girls are attending classes seriously, learning various knowledge. After all, if they want to manage the spiritual medicine farmland, there are too many things to learn. At the same time, they also need to cultivate and enhance their cultivation. The stronger they are, the more spiritual medicine fields they can manage. At this moment, these slave girls don't want to leave. They all regard this place as their home. Even if they leave this place, they probably have nowhere to go. Chong Xiaoqian is also among them, but at this moment she is very dissatisfied and unhappy. Teacher, why do I have to study with these commoners? Are there no private classrooms? Chong Xiaoqian said angrily. She felt that it was a disgrace for a mighty monarch like her to have to study with so many commoners. Why can't you study together? Aren't commoners also your people? Are you not willing to stay with your people and let them bask in your glory? If a monarch doesn't protect his people, is he still a monarch? If a monarch is not willing to stay with his people, isn't he really a monarch? If that's the case, how can his people support their monarch? The Green Ox smiled and asked a few questions in response. I see. Hearing this, Chong Xiaoqian came to a realization. Teacher, I understand now. There's a deeper meaning to this. You want me to win over the people and become a benevolent monarch that is loved by the people. Water can carry a boat, but it can also capsize it. If a monarch doesn't love his people, he'll be a tyrant, the last monarch. This will probably incur the wrath of the people, and he might be pushed to the guillotine. There have been many monarchs who have been hanged in history, so we have to learn from them. The Green Ox smiled. What? I'll be hanged by my people? No, I don't want that. I'm a good monarch. Chapter 1870. Seeing Chong Xiaoqian's fearful expression, many of the slave girls snickered. They knew from the azure cow that Chong Xiaoqian was a newborn child. Don't worry. At this time, a young girl from the angel race stood out and said, as long as you remember humility, compassion, justice, honor, sacrifice, valor, spirituality, and honesty, then you will be a true king. You will be loved and respected by all. No one will come and hang you on the guillotine. Okay. Chong Xiaoqian immediately felt a lot more at ease upon hearing this, but she was still reluctant to admit her mistake. No, but I didn't agree to study with you because I'm afraid that you'll become a mob. It's just that I want to experience the feelings of the people. That's right, I want to visit you incognito and see how you live and learn. She put her hands on her hips. The group of girls giggled and did not expose Chong Xiaoqian's guilty conscience. Okay, let's start the class. The Green Ox coughed and immediately went to class. As an old monster that had lived for countless years, it was well versed in astronomy and geography. It was practically a living fossil. A few hours later, the class was finally over and it was time to end school. So that's how it is. These are the necessary knowledge for a king. It looks like this king will have to study them properly. This is all for the sake of inheriting the throne and managing the country in the future. Chong Xiaoqian immediately felt like she had benefited a lot. Even though she had inherited knowledge, it was only the cultivation knowledge of the black hole worm, as well as some general knowledge. How could it compare to the knowledge that the azure ox had accumulated over countless years? Where are you going? Chong Xiaoqian soon discovered that the young women around her split up after their classes ended. Instead of returning to their own rooms, they headed to another place. In fact, these young ladies also had their own private villas and private resting places. After all, the mountain and river pearl was extremely large, and it would not be a problem to build countless villas. We're going to work and manage the herbal field. The girls replied. So that's how it is. This is the work of the commoners. Then work hard and contribute to this king in the future. Chong Xiaoqian came to a sudden realization and felt very satisfied. It seemed that these commoners were still working very hard for her. Right, Xiaoqian, there's something I need to tell you. Don't ever get together with Tan Minglu. She will lead you astray. At that moment, a young girl from the winged race looked at Chong Xiaoqian seriously. Tan Minglu? Who is she? Chong Xiaoqian was confused. She seems to be master's subordinate, but apart from eating, sleeping, or playing games all day, she stays at home and doesn't go out. She's so lazy that she's basically useless. Don't ever come into contact with her, or you'll definitely be led astray. The mermaid girl despised greedy dream Jade. Tan Minglu is a typical loser. She's a homebody who relies on her parents. Her catchphrase is that she'll never work in her life. The group of young girls chattered among themselves, completely using Tan Minglu as a negative example and taking it as a warning. What? There's actually a commoner who doesn't work? How is she going to support herself? Is she also a king? Chong Xiaoqian was dumbfounded. She had thought that in the whole world only the king didn't need to work. Our main source of income is from living off our elders. The cat ears race girl shook her head and sighed. I think Master must have had 8 lifetimes of bad luck to have taken her as his subordinate. All she knows is to eat, sleep, play games and watch movies. She's hopeless. There's actually such a thing? Chong Xiaoqian immediately became extremely curious about Greedy Dream Jade. She had a thought in the depths of her heart. If she could subdue Greedy Dream Jade, wouldn't she be able to incite her to join her in resisting the tyranny of that despicable official? An hour later, Chong Xiaoqian turned left and right. She obtained information from the young girls and found out where Greedy Dream Jade was. What is this place? Chong Xiaoqian's eyes widened. She immediately discovered that there was a huge valley in front of her, and the surroundings of the valley were densely packed with spirit grains, golden corn, and many roasted meats. The fragrant aroma assailed her nostrils, causing her to salivate. This was like a small world of food, so abundant that it made one's hair stand on end. In the center of the valley there was a pink bed and a little loli was lying on it. She was completely like a salted fish, as if she would not get up until the end of time. She had turned on the virtual projection and was watching a very popular television series in the universe with great interest. Sometimes when she was hungry she did not even move to get up. She opened her mouth wide and devoured the food like a whale. Walala sounds could be heard as a large amount of food entered her mouth. There was not even a bit of residue left. It seemed to be very delicious. She even had dark circles under her eyes, as if she had not slept for a month and could die at any time. My God, if she is a king, she is definitely a fatuous ruler, the last emperor of a generation, the kind that will be pushed to the guillotine by the angry people. Chong Xiaoqian could immediately feel the decadent aura coming from her body. She was completely like a salted fish without any ideals. She instinctively felt that it was very dangerous to get close to such trash and she might be infected. As the saying went, one is marked by the company one keeps. Just as she was about to slip away, Greedy Dream Jade seemed to sense something and raised her head. Who's outside? Are you trying to steal my food? Truly courageous, daring to snatch food in front of Tao Tai. She grabbed with her large hand, producing a terrifying suction force, and instantly pulled Chong Xiaoqian's small body over. Ah, rude person, how dare you treat this king like this? Chong Xiaoqian kept struggling in midair, her face red with anger, but she was unable to break free. Oh, I remember you. You seem to be Master's new pet, the Black Hole Worm King. Greedy Dream Jade recalled Chong Xiaoqian's identity. Who is that bastard regent's pet? What kind of joke is this? This king is the most honorable king in the world. This king will take back the throne sooner or later. Just wait and see. Chong Xiaoqian said angrily. You actually dare to resist that bastard master's tyranny. Looks like you have a bright future. I like you very much. Greedy Dream Jade seemed to have found a kindred spirit. She put Chong Xiaoqian down and patted her shoulder. Are you interested in playing games with me? Games? Chong Xiaoqian said with disdain. Do you think I'm a child? How old are you already and you still want to play games? This king is very busy and there are many things waiting for me to do. Foolish. Don't talk nonsense about things you don't understand. Are you still a king like this? Games are not some child's play, it's life. Greedy Dream Jade shouted, and a powerful aura emanated from her body. It was as if the entire sky was about to collapse. What? Chong Xiaoqian was immediately stunned. This was the first time she discovered that this trash in front of her was emitting a light that could not be ignored. It was extremely dazzling like the scorching sun in the sky. Chapter 1871. Oh really? What exactly is the game? Chong Xiaoqian could not help but ask when she saw the dazzling Tan Minglu. However, she regretted it as soon as she asked. It was as if she had touched a taboo. Not bad, you're worth teaching. That's a good question. It seems like you're very talented. Tan Minglu was very satisfied when she heard this. No one can define what a game is and no one can explain it. It's the universe, all-encompassing and encompassing everything. It's life, the ups and downs, the joys and sorrows of life. Only by playing it for real will you know the endless charm of a game. She stood up and waved her little fists. Her body exuded a fanatical look. Oh, I still have something to do. I'll come and play with you again in the future. Chong Xiaoqian said guiltily. She felt that the other party was a very dangerous person. He was a little like those fanatical religious fanatics. Perhaps he was trying to pull her into his religion. She wanted to find an excuse to escape and stay away from this extremely dangerous person. If she continued to stay with this guy, she might even be infected. What? You want to run? I haven't told you in detail about the charm of a game. You want to run now? Are you not going to give me face? Tan Minglu grabbed Chong Xiaoqian and revealed a dangerous look. No, it's fine. I already know enough. Chong Xiaoqian wanted to run even more. She had entered a den of thieves. She regretted it so much that her intestines turned green. If she had known this would happen, she would have listened to the suggestions of the commoners. Otherwise, she would not have fallen into the hands of this dangerous person. Humph, one look at you and I can tell that you're a shallow person. You think that a game is like playing house. Do you know what you can do in a game? It can save a village, a country, and even the universe. At that time you'll be a hero, a king, and the people will support you. Tan Minglu waved her arms and clenched her fists. What? It can save the universe? Isn't that a savior? Chong Xiaoqian was stunned. She did not expect the game to be so powerful. It's not as simple as just being a savior. In the game you can kill monsters and drop treasures. Killing one will give you a large amount of treasures and experience. Every time you do something, you will definitely gain something, and you can constantly improve your strength. Tan Minglu harumphed. Furthermore, you can raise your arm and call for action. You can form a chamber of commerce, an army, and a country. You will have hundreds of millions of subordinates. You can conquer the world and unite the world. You are omnipotent. Most importantly, in the game you can become stronger as long as you charge money. The more you charge, the faster you will become stronger. It won't be a problem for you to beat people until they cry for their parents. You can become stronger just by topping up money? So simple? Chong Xiaoqian was dumbfounded. Yes, it's that simple. Greedy Dream Lu stood with her hands behind her back. Now, are you interested in playing a game with me, the greatest king competition? I believe that if you and I join forces, we will definitely be able to sweep through all the experts in the universe. Battle of the Kings? This name is very suitable for my status as a king. Chong Xiaoqian was tempted. She felt that this might be fate's arrangement. The word king was very attractive to her. Perhaps it would be fine to give it a try. All right, you are indeed a very talented person. I can tell that you are extraordinary the moment we meet. Greedy Dream Lu grabbed and immediately threw out a virtual device from her internal space, allowing Chong Xiaoqian to enter the virtual game. Chong Xiaoqian blinked her eyes. Under Greedy Dream Lu's guidance, she quickly learned how to use it. At this time, Xiaoping also did not know that Chong Xiaoqian had been brought into the online game Nifa's Abyss by Greedy Dream Lu and had one foot in the ranks of the useless. At this moment he came to the place where little Dumbo was cultivating in seclusion, wanting to see how little Dumbo was doing. He saw that little Dumbo was still wrapped up by a spatial energy, lying on the ground like an eggshell. The intense energy affected the void, forming a domain that ordinary people could not get close to. Looks like little Dumbo won't be able to wake up in a short period of time. Xia Ping sensed little Dumbo's situation. It was still devouring and digesting the huge amount of soul energy it had obtained previously. At this moment, the interior of Gaia's space seemed to be undergoing profound and complicated mysterious changes. However, he did not know what the changes were for the time being. After all, little Dumbo was still in a deep sleep. However, he reckoned that there were more positive aspects and fewer negative aspects. He then went to see Luna. She was living alone in a lakeside villa. Master. As soon as Xia Ping entered the lakeside villa, a black figure appeared beside Xia Ping with a swoosh. It was zombie beast Luna. She was wearing a black and white gothic costume, flat shoes and white socks. Her beautiful black eyes were shining like stars, as if they could devour souls. The current zombie beast Luna was much stronger than before. Her aura was like a mountain, unfathomable, majestic, and unshakable. This was because during this period of time, she had developed a total of 50 million dependents. These 50 million dependents cultivated crazily and devoured a large amount of spiritual herbs and spiritual grains, allowing Luna to obtain a huge amount of energy. Her cultivation had also improved by leaps and bounds. It could not be said that she had improved by leaps and bounds. It could only be said that she had recovered her original strength quickly. After all, Luna at her peak was something that even sages feared. She could be said to be an undying and indestructible existence. Moreover, Luna did not need to develop any dependents anymore. If these dependents had descendants, they would pass on their bloodline and spread out. As time passed, the number of dependents would increase, and they would provide Luna with more and more energy. It seems that you have been working hard in your cultivation recently. You have improved by leaps and bounds. Xia Ping touched Luna's little head. Yes, master. Luna was immediately satisfied. Just as Xia Ping was about to say something, Corinne's figure suddenly appeared in front of Xia Ping. Xia Ping, there is news from outside. The All Heavens fortune map seems to have appeared. What? It has appeared? Xia Ping was shocked. Then he was overjoyed. He had waited in the Jianghu sect for such a long time. Finally, the news of the All Heavens fortune map's appearance had arrived. Go out immediately. It seems that the Jianghu sect master and many elders are contacting you. They plan to enter the All Heavens fortune map. Corinne transmitted the news. Okay, I'll go over now. Xia Ping nodded. After saying a few words to Luna, he immediately left the space of the mountain river Pearl. Not long after, he left Yanhuang Peak and arrived in a great hall of the Jianghu sect. At this moment, many Jianghu sect elders and Zhu Xian were gathered in the great hall. All of their faces were filled with excitement, anticipation, and uneasiness. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.